Did you ever think you would make it? I feel I'm so close, I could taste sweet victory. I know this life meant for me.
Adam, what's your point? The future looks bright.
My handshake is better than anything I ever saw. It's right here.
You are a one-of-one?
My son's right about
I
it.
don't think I've ever said this before.
So, Tom, you good? Audio check, everything good? By the way, your hair looks fun. Look at that. Look at Tom's hair. That's why
in the back. On the back, you have to put it, sit it down.
You got Come on.
Yeah, you're good.
This is why you don't do it. Anyways, hey, you hope you had a good weekend. We got a lot of stuff to cover here today. We have our friend Lindy Lee here with us. A new book coming out, which we cannot wait to share with all the audience. You got a couple stories you've never talked about. We saw an interview. I think the best interview so far with Hunter Biden was done by Bill Maher. Bill Maher pushed him on everything.
Good.
And you know Bill. You know Hunter Biden. You've done stuff with him. So it's good to kind of get your insight from him that we'll talk about. And then we had Trump posted a tweet about Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tucker, and
Taylor Brown.
And Joe Kent and Taylor Brown, which I know you got a few things you want to say about that. Yes. Talarico, Mark Cuban on 1 minute goes and says he doesn't like what's going on in California. And then the other minute on the same exact show says he likes Talarico that is in the state of Texas. But he says, well, I'm not going to be directly impacted by it, so I'll vote for something like that, but not for something bigger that's going to be a direct impact. The moment you think there is logic with his positioning, similar thing with Scott Galloway as well, who does a lot of good work for young men, but he was on Bill Maher. He was asked about who he sees, and he said Newsom, and then he just went to a place. He still believes America is sexist and America is racist. Very weird. We'll get into that. And then Trump, Canada, EU, the tariffs, back and forth. Tom's got a whole point of view. J.D. Vance said Mark Carney's trying to act like he's tough until he negotiates with somebody that knows how to negotiate. We'll address that. Couple stories. This ghost job story, Tom, I really want to hear your thoughts. I think it's important for us to talk about companies that apparently are posting jobs online, but they have no desire to hire.
It's a PR trick.
It's a PR trick. It's kind of like, hey, we're hiring, we're growing, look at this. But then there is no interview, there is no follow-up, no one's getting a job. And so we'll talk about that. And then the functional unemployment right now, where it's at, which the functional unemployment is different than the regular unemployment, which is around 4.1%. Functional unemployment is how much people make under a certain amount of money, living wages, how it's dropped, I think 4 months in a row, Tom, if I'm not mistaken, and we'll get into that as well to discuss. Then Hasan Piker said they did a song about, what do you call it? Charlie Kirk, right? Yeah. And you guys were on Piers. Both of you guys were on Piers having a conversation with, I think it was Jen, not with
who was sticking up for
Hasan. Then there was a couple clips of him saying, I'd like to kill Charlie. He says, not really kill him. I'd like to do this. And so these things are going back and forth. Just, you got to be very careful with these things you're doing. Then poly market, a lot of people are talking about poly market versus Calcium. So what's the difference? And it's very important for people to realize, because there's a guy that's got a 97% accuracy on wages he's made on poly market who's in the military. You know what 97% is? Imagine you betting 97% of all the sports bets you do, you win.
It's like you have the sports almanac from Back to the Future.
It's called
too.
impossible.
Yeah, it's
called the rig system.
But the reason why he can do that with poly versus being able to do that with
Calci
is because Calci is regulated by the CFTC, the Commodity Federal Trade Commission, and poly is not. So poly, you have to go through a VPN here to bet over there because they're not regulated. I mean, we dealt with this closely when we were going back and forth. So we'll talk about that. 97% is something's really going on there. Then Tom brings up one of his favorite people he leans on for investments. Because whatever this guy says, Tom typically does the opposite, Cramer. So Cramer 2 weeks ago said, I'm selling all my Bitcoin. And the next 2 weeks, Bitcoin has a massive growth.
I bought more.
And so then Ray Dalio is worried about what's about to happen. And him and Besant are kind of on different sides on why Besant is making certain moves. And Ray Dalio is saying, time to buy gold and hang on to your Bitcoin. Who's right? Vinny's got entire analysis on it, so we'll definitely go through that. Hang tight for that. And then a couple other stories that we got that we'll get into. One of them is with Enes Kanter decides to go to a wonderful WNBA game, and he gets kicked out.
She got kicked out. Please don't detonate.
I'm sorry, I don't want to.
Don't do that, Pat. I swear to you, I will walk out of this.
Minding his own business, enjoying his weekend.
I got a couple clips I got to show you. Okay. One of them is by Fat Joe. Okay, you know who Fat Joe is?
Joe.
Okay, I love Fat Joe too.
Fat or is he?
He's
Fat
like,
Joe? No, he's lost a lot of
He's
weight.
like Dad bod Joe.
Kind of like Giancarlo. Giancarlo looks like a little
Giancarlo
model right now.
looks
Shout
way
out to
better than
Giancarlo.
Joe.
But he's having a hard time financially, Giancarlo. Just about 2 Ferraris, but he's like really.
Oh God.
Yeah, he's really going through right now. 2 Ferraris. Giancarlo's a freaking stud and a half, man, is what he is. But we're not going to talk about Giancarlo because he's a low-key, handsome, good-looking guy. Yeah. So Fat Joe tells a story, actually a very interesting story, and I want to get all your reactions on. What happens when he has a baby with his girl and the kid comes out with Down syndrome? His girl says, I'm out, leaves.
Wow.
And what Fat Joe's mom said in that moment is unbelievable.
Wow.
Can't wait.
And you don't know the story.
I did not see that
It's
story
a
coming.
phenomenal story
I can't wait.
of what happened. Then there's another story for everybody that loves their moms. I want to play this video for you, for all the moms out there, because I think the moms deserve this clip. And I think everybody else is going to be a great reminder, but it will be an emotional clip. We got to watch this together.
Don't make us cry
We'll
today,
do this
Dad.
at the end.
Don't make us cry today,
Don't
please.
cry for me, Argentina. We'll do it all the way at the end, so you don't have to worry about it at the beginning. But with that being said, before we get into it, there's some big news today. You know what it is? Do you know what was the color of the year in fashion?
Blue?
Can you say what was the color of the year in fashion?
Brown.
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Was the color of the year in fashion. So what did we do? We went to Tuscany, Italy, and we chose the exact color that we're talking about with the chocolate, and it's officially out. It's the
that's
new
beautiful.
FLB
Chocolate.
Chocolate Edition. I want you to watch this. By the way, this shoe, I've worn it with so many different outfits. I get more compliments with this brown than I do with the black. I want you to watch this clip with the latest chocolate-colored FLB shoes. Go for it.
Handcrafted across 5 Italian factories, with builder technology underfoot, it may be the most comfortable shoe you will ever own. Introducing the all-new FLB shoe, finished in new chocolate Carrezza leather, made to move,
Oh, it looks delicious.
built to endure, designed to impress.
Dude.
How sick is that?
Can I
Does
have
this
that?
come in female size 6?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Not
Lindy,
people
take
are
these.
asking for it. People are
Clown
asking for
shoes
it.
for you.
But the latest chocolate FLB shoes are out. You can go to vtmerch.com to place your order. Again, a limited number of sizes that we have. So whoever gets it, you get it. If you don't, you have to wait 4 months, 5 months for the next shipment that we have. You know how this works. And if you haven't yet had these brown chocolate FLB shoes, go to vtmerch.com to place your order. And it's got the, super foam technology on the bottom. Super, super soft, comfortable. This is all I wear every single day. Again, go to vtmerch.com, place your order before these things sell out. With that being said, let's get right into it. Believe it or not, the first story I want to get into is the Fat Joe story. I want to start off with a family story. I don't want to do a business story, political story. I want to get into this story because I really, really love this story. Now, the team in the back, before I preface this, it's very important for the guys in the back. Go to the story that I'm sending to you, and then I want you to start off with the video first of him explaining what happened. So here's what it is before he explains it to you. Fat Joe has a kid, and when the baby is born, the doctor tells him and the baby's mother that the baby has Down syndrome. And then here's what happens next. If you go a little bit lower, there's a video down there you can play that he explains it. Go a little bit right there. Click on that video. Let's have the audience watch this. It'll say a lot about Fat Joe and his character. Go for it.
Tell you, show us his hands. That's where he said he got Down syndrome. He's going to be a big challenge. I'm there with my mother, my father, and his mother. And his mother was like, yo, I can't do this. I'm going to have to give him up for adoption. And my mother was like, you crazy, bitch? Like, you ain't giving up my fucking, and so we raised him. I never seen his mother again is what I'm trying to tell you is that. So she was born. Yeah, she never visited him again.
Wow.
I'm not here to kick her while, she abandoned a kid.
Wow.
Yeah. And so we raised him by ourselves. He don't know no other family. He don't know, it's not because we didn't allow that. His mom's just, is crazy. She has never seen him again. And, and it wasn't like I kept the door closed where she can't see her son.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was always available for her to see her son. But, you know, we got wicked people out there, whether man or female. You know, it's usually the other way around. You know, baby come out Down syndrome, the man run away.
Right.
You know, shame on you. You know, father's got to be a father. I don't know how to be a fake father. I don't know how to be a fake father. So I got to take care of my kids regardless, and do everything I can for them. You know,
You can pause
I don't
it
know
right
how
there.
to give.
Vinny, how do you process that? Because
my God.
think about it this way. Have you ever known this story about Fat Joe?
No.
Is that not amazing that stuff like this happens? And unless if he goes on Club Shay Shay, talks to Shannon Sharp, shares that story, no one will ever know that family. You know what you'll learn? You'll learn the character of who? Not only him, but who raised him. You'll learn who his mother is.
Oh, man.
You'll learn the values and principles. What a powerful story for a guy like Fat Joe. Let alone, imagine how many times, you know, you hear stories about fathers leaving for any kid. Then think about the kid has Down syndrome, and you know the responsibilities that comes with that. You say, no, our family is going to take care of this child. Tilted and go to the top of the picture where it's him and his son right next to each other. Look how cool that is.
Bro.
You know, look how cool that is, that it's sitting right next to each other, and he's still giving him love. How do you process this story?
Well, shout out to freaking Fat Joe. I mean, I've always loved Fat Joe, followed his music. I didn't even know he had a son that has Down syndrome, but God bless him, Pat. God bless the mom for raising him like this. And I know, you know, a lot of people today just think, it's just a life. I don't like it, as if like they're buying something that they could just return and cancel it. But I'm telling you right now from experience, one of my best friends, his name is Arthur. He has Down syndrome. And I'm telling you right now, Pat, the most positive, yes, it's a challenge. I understand. Because there's different, there's some people that have Down syndrome that have to have 24/7, their parents they have to have somebody watching them. But then I've seen there's people with Down syndrome that can actually work, get on a bus, go and, there's Down syndrome people that get married, and there's different, kinds of Down syndrome. But the fact that people don't understand unless you've been around people with Down syndrome, a lot of people are like scared and they're kind of standoffish.
Yep.
The most loving, I've never seen somebody with Down syndrome complaining, worried, conspiracy theorists, hate. It's all about love. It's all about positivity. I'm so freaking happy that you showed me this because I had zero idea, but good for him and good for the mom because she raised a freaking good son. That's amazing.
Fat Joe's mom.
Fat Joe's mom.
By the way, you ready? You
Shout out.
know how old he was when baby was born?
Huh.
He was 19.
No.
Fat Joe.
Yes, because his son is 35 years old.
Get
Joey
outta
Cartagena.
here.
Yes, this is a great story.
Wow.
Oh, so 19.
So it's not like he was 32 years old with money and finances. He was only 19 when this happened.
That even makes it
And
better.
they
Didn't even
still
make it yet.
chose.
Wow.
Like, this is some major props to Fat Joe. How do you process this story, Lynn?
The Christian cross that he was wearing was no coincidence. That was the first thing that jumped out at me. I've been wearing this for like 25 years, unless I'm showering. But it's just a example of Christ's love. It's just incredible. And think about it. This is before his song "What's Love" with Ashanti. It's before his "Lean Back." Remember that?
Yeah.
And so before the money came in, he still chose to raise his son. This is. It
I
says everything.
just feel like it's such a great, positive story. Adam, I think you can probably have a story with your father because your father he would only hire. Why don't you share how you hear this story yourself?
Well, I have a newfound respect for Fat Joe, so shout out to him. My father was born with cerebral palsy, which, like, the best way to explain it, if you ever saw Forrest Gump, the scene where he's walking with the knee braces and they're throwing stuff at him. That was like my dad with his gait was all weird, but his brain worked. So my dad was a businessman. He started an advertising agency. This was when door-to-door flyers were a thing. And he was locally famous because he would only hire people with mental disabilities and mental challenges. So just picture my house. Growing up, my dad would have what I would call you can't say the R word these days, the R word farm at my house for dinner. It would be me, my sister, my mom, my dad, and 4 or 5 handicapped individuals. And chaos ensued.
I love
These guys are eating ketchup packets. They don't know, shoes on the wrong feet. They're using this as a telephone. And how do you think you get into stand-up comedy? Because it comes from pain. And I saw what was going on here and I said, wow, shout out to my mom. She was like the most, how you doing, everybody? She treated everybody equally. You know my mom, but when you're around these people, you have a new zest for life. I talk about, because of my dad, I volunteer at the Special Olympics every year. And they say it's better to give than receive.
Yeah.
The love you give is so much greater than anything you could possibly ask for. So
Sometimes
shout out to Fat
you
Joe.
have so many of these stories that you listen to that's like this matter bam. We're gonna talk about some of these stories that are just like fear, negative, all this stuff. You hear a story like this with Fat Joe, you're like, dude, just let the world hear that there's so many wonderful human beings behind closed doors that do so much great that nobody ever hears about. No one. That a 19-year-old young, but what was this guy worth at 19 years old? I don't even know if he was a player yet.
This was back in the day. Fat Joe's always in Miami. I'll just add this. This was when he started Terror Squad and he was with Big Pun. When you think of hip hop, New York, yo, what's up, Terror Squad? But little do you know that he's raising a Down syndrome kid, and it's incredible.
And no one knows it.
Nobody knew this. You know who else also talks about this a lot? Shane Gillis. Shane Gillis has
an uncle.
Down syndrome in his family, and he normalizes it. At the end of the day, my point is this: it's part of life. You can either embrace it and get better for it, or
at 19 years old, he had no hit record, no established recording career. First time he signed with Apollo at 2021, and he got his first $1 million check with Flo Joe. Hit #1 on the Billboard's Hot Rap Singles at 23 years old, 1993. He got his first $1 million at that time. 19 years old, they made a decision to take this kid with nothing.
And the mother left.
Freaking amazing story.
And are you ready for this?
Newfound respect.
At 19, that means no
What a great
nannies,
story.
no help, no nothing. It's you and your mom
Great story.
while you're building your house.
in New York.
Final thoughts before we go to the next story.
You know what? In a world where celebrities sometimes take things like this and they put them out there and they wear it like jewelry, I admire a man, regardless of what he was worth, that just quietly did the right thing. And I want to underline something that you touched on, and we haven't talked about it yet, which is praise God for his mom, who put the foundational elements in his heart to say the value of life is this. This is my son, and we're walking from here. And I'm happy that we didn't know about this, because it means that he was just quietly living and doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And I admire that. Man, mega props.
And the son's 35 years old.
35 years old.
So meaning he lived longer than typical life expectancy or whatever that may be.
Is not that.
Shout out to
35 years old. 35 years old. Joey Cartagena. Great
Joey
name.
Crack.
Yeah. So, okay. All right. Let's go to the next story. Next story is a different story. Okay. It's Hunter Biden on Bill Maher. Okay. And believe it or not, I was actually very impressed with Bill Maher, because Bill Maher asked the questions that everybody else was thinking about that maybe others like Tucker didn't ask Hunter for whatever reason. And, everybody that does certain interviews, there is a motive that people have in an agenda. That's their show. They can talk about whatever they want, no judgment. But I like that Bill pushes, no matter what, if you're left, right, or center, he doesn't care who you are. He'll call you out, right? And he's gotten to this phase a lot more lately. So here's a couple clips. I want to show a couple of the clips that we have. Here's one of them. Go for it.
I think a reasonable person who's not filled with hate would say, you both took advantage of some of your privileges by being the son of a president and vice president, and you also were a target in a way that a normal person would not have been. Is that fair?
There's a part of that that is fair. One of the things that people, I think, don't understand is that when my dad was president, I didn't do any business. I sold paintings, and I sold paintings to people that then had to testify before Congress under oath. I made an average of $225,000 a year.
But would you have been working for an energy company out of Ukraine? Was that really the thing you studied in school? And you got that job.
Right. I went to Yale Law School.
You got that job because you were just admitted it.
Yeah, 100%. As I've said in a million interviews.
Good for Bill Maher.
I'm incredibly privileged. Beyond anyone's wildest imagination, not only because of who my dad was, but because of the father that he was. And so a lot of privilege comes from that. And I don't deny that.
And also a target on your back.
Yeah, and by the way, and also a target on your back. And also.
Okay, so how do you feel about that? How do you feel about that exchange? I'll come to you first, Linda. You know Hunter.
Yeah, I do, and it makes me very frustrated. I just, he's not being held accountable sufficiently. I mean, Bill Maher is doing a great job right here. But this is a guy who lived on the Biden name for decades and used his kids' college tuition money to pay for prostitutes and hookers, basically.
His kids'
college tuition, to pay for his own drug money and to pay for his hookers. This is a guy whose privates were broadcasted around the world, and there's no shame. And I used to host events at which he would go and glad hand billionaires and business titans, not for the sake of the United States, but for himself. He went to all of these donor events in order to ingratiate himself, looking for exit opportunities. And that is why he had forced his senile and cognitive declining father, who had no business running for president, he forced him to run for the presidency, run for re-election. This guy has so much responsibility and culpability on his hands, and I wish more people were like Bill Maher.
Okay, so let's just say if he sits down with you, what 3 questions do you ask him? You sitting with Hunter, what do you ask him?
When are you going to apologize for the fact that you hoisted a man who very likely 99% had terminal prostate cancer? You forced this man to run for re-election. How dare you? This is not only a dereliction of duty to our country, but to your own family. You claim to love your father. Is this something that you would do to a man that you love? We just talked about Fat Joe raising a child with Down syndrome. Now we're talking about an 82-year-old man who is dying of cancer. Had he, God forbid, had he won the presidency, he would have been dying in the Oval Office right now. The cancer is now spreading across his body. Can you imagine? They lied to the world, telling us that he was sharp as a tack, running circles around everybody.
Yep.
In fact, I was on a phone call with Jen O'Malley Dillon, the chairman of the Biden campaign, with a small select group of donors. She had the gumption to look us in the eye and say, Biden is healthier than all of you. I'm a marathon runner. Okay, I run 5 miles a day. You want to tell me that Joe Biden is healthier than us? And so Hunter Biden has a lot of explaining to do because he is one of the primary reasons that Biden chose to run for a re-election again. There's another reason that we haven't addressed. It's his own fate. He didn't want to land in prison. He needed his father to pardon him.
What else? What else would you ask? Because that's very good. What else? You're an insider. What else would you ask? By the way, what was he like when you hung out with him? What was his energy like?
I have questions about his sobriety, frankly.
He's been sober for 7 years.
That's what he claims. But I was invited to the White House on February 24th, 2024. This was months after the cocaine situation, the Cubby. Do you remember that?
Yep, of course.
And no one was ever held accountable. There were no investigations.
This was recently. You're saying less
2.5 years ago.
2 years ago, yes. My guest and I went to the Oval Office a few months before the 2024 election. And I remember being in the Cubby area and wondering, wow, there is no security in this room. You would think after an incident like that, they would put proper precautions in place. No security. There's nobody there other than me and my guest. The Cubbies weren't locked. And so people could take things out at will. There were no cameras to speak of. I remember looking around and thinking, this is really strange. And I don't know if the American people realize this, but not a single interview was conducted in the aftermath of the cocaine gate. And so I have serious questions about this. To this day, we don't have answers about that. And Hunter Biden is very trigger happy when it comes to lawsuits, and we can talk about that later. There's a member of the Biden family who threatened to sue me. Actually, my lawyer, one of my lawyers, Tim Palatori, is like, you want them to sue you because Discovery is going to be beautiful. Everybody knows you're telling the truth.
Did they ever do that or no?
No, it's been.
They never followed.
They know that I'm telling the truth. They know I was in a position to know. I have the receipts. It's been 2 years.
If you're a betting person and you were able to go to Poly Market and a VPN to bet that Hunter Biden, okay, that's a different, that Hunter Biden
was not
has
sober?
used crack the last 7 years,
sure. I would totally. And I'm not a betting woman. I'm an index fund girl. But yeah, exactly.
500,
I respect. So you would say yes.
Oh, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. And he's not the only member of the family with serious substance issues.
But Lindy, he is so charming. He is so charismatic. I got to tell you, like the way he knows how to do this. You watch him like, yeah, I just admit it. But Bill, I just did. But Nick, why would you say that? Nick, why would you say that? And he has this thing that he does. You can tell. I got 4 kids. So I watch which one of my kids can get things from me better than others. You see the childlike side of him, and you can tell why this guy's good with girls. You can tell. Like, you can tell why he was able to. I had one of his baby mamas on the podcast. We had a great conversation.
The girl that was a stripper that had a baby that he never wanted to be around.
A phenomenal conversation with her.
The one whose daughter he wouldn't claim.
That's right. They didn't want to claim. They didn't want to claim, but it was a very good conversation. And she told a story of one day, they're in the hotel room, and they're high as a kite. And she says, the father, Joe, comes and knocks on the door and sees both of us. And he says, I looked at the father looks at Hunter, and he says, I've never seen this much pain in a father's eyes when he made eye contact with his son and knowing what his son is going through. He says, I felt for the dad. And this is the kid that they had together. So, and by the way, I want to go to another clip, but before I do, Lindy just came out with a book. It's coming out. And I want you to pull up the link if you can. She's got a ton of these stories in the book that if you guys want to hear it from an insider, go place the order, Unburden, a former Democrat insider's shocking accounts of political power, betrayal, and party collapse. If you want to see more of these stories come out, now again, this comes out September 22nd, but pre-order, go get the copy, whatever you have. Let's put the link below as well for folks to be able to pre-order this. Let's go to the next clip. The next clip I want to go to is one where, again, Bill is going back with them and they're talking about different things. And he says, well, we never talked about addiction. And Bill shoots back pretty quickly. Watch this. Go for it.
But everybody has a brother who's suffering from addiction. Everybody, including themselves, have gone through periods in their life in which they've struggled.
Everybody?
And not just with addiction, but with grief and loss. You know, I was speaking about my dad's health. And, you know, the thing that is the most astonishing to me is all of the things that we all experience, these painful things, are things that everybody's gone through, but we never speak about it. And nobody ever comes on a show like this and openly talks about it.
Well, I don't know about that. This is America. We talk about it a lot.
Well, I don't know.
Come on, let's be real. We talk about it a lot.
Yeah,
we talk about addiction. We talk about grief.
Yeah, I don't. But you know what? But I think that we talk about addiction and grief, but not in terms of our own personal experience, in which the vivid Technicolor pictures have been released to the entire
look,
world.
I think,
and there's that piece of it. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, I think a fair.
Okay, this is one of them. Now, can you go to the next one of him asking him about running for president? And then we'll get a couple thoughts and move to the next story. So here's asking about whether you run for president or not. Watch this.
Don't be nervous. We only have like we only have like 10 or 12 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of all the things that we get into the weeds with, and I see you with another. Your laptop, your obituary. The third word will be laptop.
Yeah.
I don't. You know, I know everything about the laptop. More things than I want to know. I've seen you with your dick out. I've seen you with a crack pipe in your mouth. My question: are you running for president?
See the smile? Look at the charm. Looking like his dad, young dad.
I'm here to announce. Yeah, exactly.
Have you thought about that?
Yeah, no, I haven't.
No, you.
Oh, yeah,
Here's my thing. If I announce for president, then somebody should check and see if I relapsed. That's what I.
Okay, pause it. What do you think?
Oh my gosh,
Why do you
I have
think
to
he's
say
doing
this.
this?
I have to say this because I'm
Please.
jumping out of a chair. This guy got hair plugs, for sure. I know Hunter. I've seen him. I'm sorry.
And also new teeth.
He's got new everything.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but Joe Biden got major surgery. And I don't mean like health-wise, but cosmetically. There's not a doubt in my mind.
Joe Biden got major
absolutely. Everything.
Oh,
really?
Absolutely. I mean, just look at Joe's face, the evolution over the years, for sure. It's not a surprise that Hunter Biden got hair plugs, some sort of hair procedure.
What's
because
wrong
it's
with that, though?
No, it's great. I'm just saying that's a better indication of his political aspirations than a lot of other things.
Well, this is a perfect toss-up to you for your latest business you started in Turkey with hair transplant that you want to share,
yes.
you know, in
Hunter
Istanbul.
Hunter and I started multiple businesses. We started a laptop company. We started a lap dance company.
What do you think?
We did anything with laps.
Do you think he runs for president?
No.
Do you think he's doing this for anything?
Look, I'll give you three little takeaways. I watched the whole interview. Number one, the biggest takeaway I had was at the end of the interview, Bill Maher goes, well, send your best, our best to your dad. He goes, he's watching right now. He's alive. He's watching right now. They're like, yeah, okay.
I don't think Joe Biden's staying up
But
till
one
9
thing he
o'clock.
said that struck out to me, he goes, listen, I think you did some bad things, but I don't think you're a bad man.
That's
in the day of reinvention in America and reinventing yourself and starting over, I'm sure there's a lot of people that look at Hunter and they're like, what a mess. I hope you clean it up. And it looks like he is, whether it's physically, whether it's emotionally, whether it's religiously. He did some dumb things. You know, on his tombstone, it's going to say 3 words. It's going to say laptop, it's going to say crack, and it's going to say corruption. So right now, he's basically out there sort of putting lipstick on a pig. And, you know, to your point, if you just take the numbers they're saying on the surface, he's saying 50 million Americans are still sick and suffering every day from addiction. I don't know if that number is accurate or not, but that means 1 out of every 5 or 1 out of every 6 Americans is dealing with addiction. So when they say a lot of people understand what Hunter's going through, we joke, you're a crackhead, but there's a lot of people that do understand what he actually went through. The difference with him is he was in the limelight for 20-something years doing crack on the low.
Well, I genuinely feel sorry for him because, I mean, if you go back to the story, okay, besides the political aspirations or whatever, the Democrats will take anything at this point. Look at where they're at with DSA. They have no real leaders. The AOC is their front runner and Gavin Newsom's number 2. But if you guys go back to his past, his mother, Nelia, a Hunter, by her maiden name was Hunter. That's where he gets his name from. She died in a car accident, and the 13-month-old
sister also died.
Also died as well. The
Joe
brother,
Biden's
Joe Biden's his mom.
Jill.
Jill, Dr. Jill. But I can only imagine, what type of pain that becomes. And, you become, your father's not there. You lose your mother. The addiction starts. But then that addiction turns into crazy stuff where we had John Paul Isaac over here talking about what he really saw on this laptop. And the most disturbing thing was him allegedly naked, smoking crack in front of his niece. So, and by the way, the getting the stripper, whatever her name is, pregnant, not seeing like his character, put all that aside. I genuinely feel bad for him, and I pray for him to get over whatever he's got. I don't believe he's been sober for 7 months, but that's me. But Pat, this is the type of attitude where you could go out and have fun and be nonchalant when you know you've got a pardon and nothing's going to happen to you. And getting $225,000 for a crackhead to make a painting, you mean... Where do you think, who was giving him that money, Pat? Did they ever trace? He goes, people testified, and what does that mean? People lie in court all the time.
I can tell you exactly who bought his painting.
Please.
There's a lawyer who paid upwards, I think, $7 million. He paid all of Hunter Biden's legal bills.
Weird.
I forget his last name, but there's one lawyer who paid for everything.
And was it connected to any China or all the people that he was hooking up with the big guy?
It's a lawyer who has business with politically involved clients. So no one is doing this out of the kindness of their hearts. Everybody wanted something out of Joe Biden.
You mean it's not Picasso, Rembrandt, Hunter Biden?
Let me tell you why Joe Biden is currently on his charm tour.
Yeah.
Hunter Biden, you mean?
What did I say?
Joe Biden.
Yeah, it's all good.
Well, I mean, he is too. Joe Biden's out with a book that he didn't write. He claims to, actually his first,
So did Jill
he came
Biden.
out with a video saying, guys, I wrote a book. No, that's lie number 1. You did not write a book.
Yeah.
You did not write a sentence. You hadn't written anything in a number of years, at least, for a while. They are doing this. Jill Biden just came out with a book. Joe Biden came out a book purportedly for $10 million. They're doing this because the family is flat broke. Flat broke. They are having financial problems, guys. That is the truth. They couldn't raise any money for their so-called presidential library. Usually when successful presidents raise money for libraries, people are throwing money at you, especially with that. You saw with the monstrosity. Exactly. That's the ugliest building I've ever seen in my life. Putting that aside.
Yeah.
They can't raise any money for the presidential library. In fact, candidates in the Democratic Party are saying, please don't show up at my events. We really don't want you here. Do us a favor and just go away. When Jill Biden was going out on her book tour, a rehabilitation tour, everyone was telling her to shut up. There were people in Biden world saying, please just go away. But they need the money that badly. Think about it. Their patriarch is not making any money. In fact, James Biden, Joe Biden's brother, just had a hospital network that fell apart, actually based here in Florida. They were in, wait for it, they were in business with the same doctor who went out before the American people, Kevin O'Connor, Dr. Kevin O'Connor, who said, Joe Biden is fit to run for another 4 years. This doctor who said that was in business with the Biden family. So where do you think his incentive is?
Of course. And
That's a famous quote. Never look better.
Yeah. And if you're getting $250,000 as if, by the way, real artists don't get paid that. So to me, it's a pay for play. And that attitude, like I know people that I used to party, I used to do drugs, I used to drink. That attitude is somebody that's those are fun people to be around. They have stories, they have that charisma. But in his soul, I think what his father put them through, Pat. Even Ashley Biden, she was in rehab in 2019. She's the one that left a diary that somebody found and gave it to Project Veritas, where she even says, my father would shower. This all goes back to Joe. My father would shower with me probably at inappropriate ages. I think these kids are all in pain, Pat. I feel sorry for all of them. But this whole parading around, doing the rounds, trying to make everybody feel like, he's a cool guy. This just shows you what the Democratic Party has, and it's nothing. That's what the Democratic Party has. It's zero.
Look,
who's buying crack paint?
I'm just going to push back a little bit. I'm not going to defend Hunter or Joe Biden, but I'll just ask this question. Is it such a bad thing that they're broke? in the day of age of that everybody's enriching themselves, selling stock, getting rich off the government. You come in, you're broke. Next thing you leave and you're worth $100 million. You're telling me this guy's been in politics for 50 years and he's broke? So there's a lot of things we could say about Trump.
But let me say
what I'm
this.
saying is,
I like what Humberto said today, and I want to give a quick shout out to him. I like what he said today. He said, you know, there's a part where he says Don Jr. made $1 billion. I don't know if you guys have that clip or not. If you want to, is this the clip of Don Jr. making $1 billion? If it is, just play the clip. Watch this.
In the last 500 days of this administration, Don Jr.'s company has taken in over $3.4 billion in Department of Defense contracts. He got a $640 million loan pushed through by the White House, the largest single loan to any private company ever given out by the Department of Defense. And that's just a fraction of it. Forget about what they've done with cryptocurrency now, which is a bank in which they are able to go and launder their money. It is an abomination. And that doesn't even include what Jared is doing and Ivanka are doing. He gets paid over $100 million in fees by the Saudis alone, for a $6.5 billion fund that he controls, which is all Gulf state money. And he is our unelected, unappointed emissary to the Middle East for a war that nobody asked for. It is absurd.
Well,
it is
not
literally
nobody,
absurd.
But,
What?
Not nobody.
Well, that's true. Bibi Netanyahu asked for it, and he was 100%.
Your father, among every other Democrat, excuse me, every Democrat said Iran can't have nuclear weapons.
And every single Democrat and every president since Jimmy Carter refused what the Israelis wanted. What refused what the Israelis wanted was to bomb Iran. Well, every single one of them. The only person who fell for it was Donald Trump.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, when you hear this exchange, and then Humberto says the difference is that Trump's camp, they're business owners. So they're growing their business. They had business before, and their business dealings is doing better now. Of course, as a president, now don't get me wrong, I will tell you, openly, I'm not a fan of these meme coins. I'm not a fan of this crypto stuff. I'm not a fan of any of that stuff. You know why? There's a story in here that says what's going to happen that the moment Democrats own the majority, what their plans are next. I don't know if you saw that story or not.
Launching all the investigations.
Same plans
Democrats
they did in
put Trump's corruption front and center as they plan possible 2027 probes, political. Let me get this to you, and then I want to kind of tell you what I think is going to be happening here and how big of a mistake it could be. So Democrats haven't won the House majority yet, but top party leaders are already preparing an oversight campaign targeting President Trump and his family and his administration. Should they flip the chamber in November? At the center, California Representative Robert Garcia poised to lead the oversight committee, and Maryland Representative Jamie Raskin in line for judiciary. Both are planning to use their potential families' gavels on controversies like Trump's acceptable of a Qatari jet for use as Air Force One and his family's massively profitable cryptocurrency investments. And both say they have a long list of administration officials to probe. The theme is deliberate. Put Trump's corruption front and center rather than relitigating the old impeachment grievances. Committee leaders say they're staying focused on the president and the family. Tom, I have a lot of thoughts on this. Do you think this is a good strategy, and do you think they're actually going to do that if they gain power?
So if they gain power, the first thing they're going to do in, February 4th, we have the date, when they all get sworn in, right? When they all get sworn in and they officially have the gavels, as they say. So they'll get sworn in, have the gavels. Do I think they're going to do this for a year and a half going into the election because they want to win the election? Yeah. I don't think they can help themselves. I think this is where they're going to go. I don't think they give a damn about the average American voter. Honestly, American citizen, if they did, they wouldn't have set up the immigration that they did. And I think it's terrible because it's going to start a perpetual pendulum. Every one of our presidents is going to get investigated left, right, and center for anything they've done. You know, you burped without saying, excuse me, when you're in college, we're going to investigate that, you know? And then at the end of it, you know what's going to happen? They're all going to pardon their entire families and all these preemptive pardons. You know, Peru, how many of the last 6 presidents of Peru have been indicted for corruption and gone to jail?
Peru?
Yes.
All of them.
6.
Yeah.
So it's like
Everybody
and
knows
I think,
Peru's
and I'm not being funny, Pat. We can look this up. I think we're heading toward that kind of a thing, where suddenly the debate in the barbershop has been replaced by absolute, anger at each other and absolute ire, and now we're going to have politics where it's a game of okay, my turn. I got the House. I've got the committees. I've got the gavels. Okay, my turn. And we're going to go back and forth and back and forth. I think it's terrible.
Lindy, please.
There's something that has never been said in this coverage and explains why they're doing this. As James Carville, in the spirit of James Carville, it's the money, stupid. These people are massively in debt. When I came out and said in 2024 that they were tens of millions in debt, they actually issued a press release saying that I was a liar. Turns out, months later, when they had to file the FEC report, guess what? They said they were $20 million in debt. I was telling the truth, obviously. And they are so in debt, I kid you not, they put their own headquarters up as collateral for a loan. They are hundreds of millions of dollars behind the Republican National Committee. These people desperately need money in advance of 2028, and that's where they're going to do this, because otherwise their base will not give.
That's the DNC.
They are addicted to Trump. I don't know what they're going to do when Trump leaves the scene, because frankly, Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance, they don't incite the same type of anger. And Orange Man Bad is their entire fundraising machine. You think that Kamala Harris is such a talent that she somehow managed to raise $2.5 billion in 7 weeks? No. Let me tell you, no, I know the woman. She's not talented. She's a mid, all right? She's a mid. She raised $2.5 billion.
What's a mid mean?
She's like,
She's an
mediocre.
average.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I think she's lower than mid, but yeah, please go ahead.
I was being generous.
Yeah, you're
with
being
mid.
very generous.
Very nice today.
I'm just
Today I'm
defining
feeling
the term.
generous.
Keep going. I'm with you on this, especially what Tim brought from U.S. subsidy money that funneled right to her campaign.
And now they're
Keep
hurting
going.
because USAID has been
Whoa,
gutted.
oh, they shut it down?
Well, I mean,
Oh, wow. Whoops.
well, Trump, did the entire country a service by slicing that funding. But these people are desperate for money, and Ken Martin right now is a clown. The chair of the Democratic National Committee is a clown. And after I expose the celebrity payments to people like Beyonce and Cardi B, the big donors are not giving. There are donors behind the scenes who are still calling me saying, we still have no answers for why they spent $350,000 a night slapping Kamala Harris's mug on the Las Vegas Sphere, thinking that was a good idea. How many votes do you think that got her? And frankly, I think negative votes, because people obviously saw through that. But these people have nothing without Trump. They're addicted to him. They pretend to hate him, but they're actually hooked on him.
Let me ask you a question. So for me, when I go to a restaurant, let's just say it's a restaurant I love. Like I went to a restaurant the other day. I won't say the order of what I ordered, but I didn't like it.
Casa
the moment
d'Angelo?
I won't say what I ordered, because if I do, people will know what restaurant it is. But it wasn't good. And I would score a 3 out of a 10. And it's usually at least an 8. But I'll forgive them, and I'll go back because it's one time. But what happens to donors, major donors on the Democratic Party, when they give $500,000, or they give $1 million, or they give $2 million, or they give real money, or Robert, Downey Jr. hosting a meeting, and then all of a sudden it's like, what the hell happened? And he writes the op-ed. You know which one I'm talking about. How often is there buyer's remorse in raising money and going to these rich billionaire, millionaire, celebrity Democrats? How often is there buyer's remorse and saying, I'm not doing it next time?
They all have that right now. They're like you, super wealthy. They view things as a business proposition. They're not donating because they're generous or they care about our country. They don't give a blank article. They don't care. It's about their company, and it's about who can serve their interests the best. Let me tell you, the going rate for an ambassadorship nowadays is you either raise 10 million or give 1 to 2 million. There's a difference between giving and raising. You know what I mean? Like you can personally write a check for 2 million, and that's about the equivalent of raising 10 million of somebody else's.
Because it's your own money.
It's your own money.
Got
and
it.
there's actually abbreviation
sense.
for that. It's OPM.
Other
people's money.
Right.
Do not ever use your own money. Always raise OPM.
We take that note.
I mean, that's just good business sense in every sphere of life.
Right.
But these people, a lot of them, I'm in touch with Hollywood actors and actresses. George Clooney was the one who went public and said.
Oh, I said Robert Downey Jr. I meant to say George Clooney. My apologies.
He said that getting involved in politics was one of the biggest miscalculations of his life.
He said that.
Jennifer Lawrence said, I finally realized that Americans don't care about celebrity endorsements, so I'm not going to say
When did
anything.
she say that?
She said that.
Recently,
In the
really?
past year,
Phenomenal.
absolutely.
Okay, good for her.
These celebrities are finally realizing that they have no power and they've become laughing stocks.
Taylor Swift was one of the main. You would think remember we were kind.
Oh, it's going to make a shift. It's going to be this.
It's going to be a shift, and then it's like, yo, if Taylor
negative
Swift
149,000 votes or whatever it was.
If Taylor Swift can't even move the needle that much in a positive direction, you're absolutely right. It doesn't matter at all. Like, nobody cares about you. Just make the movies. Wow. Make me laugh.
Have
make
you
me cry.
heard her MAGA coded music recently? I want to have kids. I want to.
Weird.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
she's
She's
changing.
definitely changed
Tom,
a lot.
your thoughts on this, and then we'll move on.
This has been going on for a while, and God rest their souls, but I used to love to listen to Hunter S. Thompson and P.J. O'Rourke debate. Remember P.J. O'Rourke, conservative libertarian, then Hunter S. Thompson. Hunter S. Thompson said, if you're trying to get kids to vote with celebrities and musicians, you're making a mistake. We put so much effort into Rock the Vote because we wanted to go after Bush. But the little bastards didn't know they were supposed to go home and do something about it. And he said they held all these concerts with Bruce Springsteen and everything, and it was so funny. I'll say it again. He goes, those little bastards didn't know they were supposed to go home and do something about it. And it's because celebrity largely doesn't work, because celebrity is not purpose, it's not vision, it's not visceral.
Right.
It's not visceral, because if you had a celebrity that had been through something horrible, now you have visceral, you have vision, you have connection, you have, oh my gosh, I could see this, we need to fix this. Celebrity with cancer, things like that. There's believability.
Well, the good news there is, who typically gets celebrities, the left or the right?
The left. That's what I'm saying. It's actually good.
Right.
Remember, the Taylor Swift actually had a negative effect in certain swing states.
She did, yeah.
Had a negative
I
effect
remember
in
it was
Georgia.
minus 149 is the number I remember. Beyonce showed up. They got everybody.
Wait, you mean to tell me you, of all people, Megan Thee Stallion twerking for Kamala's rally, didn't do nothing? You didn't vote Kamala?
Well, I had a Jones for Megan, but I'm telling you, it just didn't get to the voting booth.
Like, think about it. Twerking in front of everybody. They're like, people are going to go out and vote because of that. They're so out of touch. It's insane. It drives me crazy.
By the way, Beyonce, to be clear, she showed up but did not perform. Not once, but twice.
Yes, and got
they
paid.
effed up twice.
And they paid her.
And they paid her.
Whatever the number was.
And remember Cardi B struggling to read English?
Oh, my God.
What you talking about, Lindsay Lee? You don't even know what you're talking about.
I have to say, I enjoy. I'm going to stop right there. But like Jennifer Lopez breaking out in tears.
Yeah, none of
These
it worked.
people were clowns.
Well,
they undermined their own celebrity, their own brand by going out there.
The thing, I remember the Megan Thee Stallion thing, and I remember her coming out on stage and thinking, "Oh, what's Megan Thee Stallion gonna do? Twerk, work." You know, what would have been a better idea? Giving an actual speech, saying, "Hey, here are my positions. This is why I'm voting for Kamala." And then people would have been like, "Wow, what a delightful lady. She actually had something to say. She's not an idiot." But they use them as just political pawns, and it backfired.
There's a reason why I have to say this. There's a reason why they use them, guys.
Well, then let me ask you. You think a Nicki Minaj works for the right?
Yes, because it's counterintuitive.
It's exactly, the novelty factor. But guys, this is something that they haven't reported. The reason why they needed the celebrities there is Kamala couldn't draw a crowd. In the primary,
she can't move merch.
She can't. During the primary, I remember speaking with party leadership, and everyone is freaking out. I even have a photo. Joe Biden couldn't get like 5 people there. So we had to move the back wall of buildings to push everyone together to make it seem like the room was full. And the cameras are trained to the front row, not to the back, to make sure that it seemed like that people were actually there. So they overlearned the lesson. That's why they got people like Christina Aguilera and Usher to fill up the room to get them out first.
Yeah.
And they made the mistake of having Beyonce come out at her Texas rally first, because as soon as she did, everyone started pouring.
And by love.
But by the way, isn't this ultimately a good thing? Meaning you could throw all the crap at the wall and it still doesn't stick.
But remember that this conversation was prompted by the corruption.
Yeah.
Are they going to go after him? Here's what I think is going to happen. I hope they do. There's 2 things that's going to happen. Remember what happened when they did.
You're talking about go after
I hope
the
they go after Trump's family again.
Trump's family.
I hope they do. This is different.
Gotcha. I see what
Yesterday, I'm having a conversation with Van Jones, and I told him, I said, listen, the more the DNC gets socialists to be the face, the more Republicans are winning. Yeah. Americans are not socialists. Yeah. Most Democrats are not socialists. They're pro-choice. They're no war. They're a very different. They're confused lately. Like even some of them are like Jews are like, wait a minute, what's happening? Most Jews are Democrats. It's not like they're Republicans. I don't know what the percentage is.
It was
but
like
64%. Yeah, 64% of Jews.
It's
plummeting. So now Democrats have to sit there and realize, who are you losing? So if they go after Trump's family, which I think they will, number one, I think it's going to give them even more rigor, more face. And then Eric Trump, that one time he was on Cuomo, and Cuomo called him out, and Eric just went, I was 111 times, and no one's ever been in America. Let me tell you what this does. Crazy prediction. If they go after Trump's family, I think Eric Trump will suddenly move up on the list of presidential candidates.
Absolutely.
I think if they go, again, I haven't said this, if they go after Trump's family, Eric Trump's the number one candidate in the Trump family to run for office, more than Don Jr., and I like Don Jr. Eric goes. Stable wife, solid wife. Laura's a monster. Laura's she could be she's like a first lady type. I think if they do that, they're handing Eric Trump the presidency. I'm just telling you, I think Eric Trump, let me just finish my thoughts. And so that's one. Number two, I will say the other part, the counter argument to this is the following. They're also giving, the Trump family is giving enough argument for the left to say, hey, you're using favors to do this. So they also have to be careful. You know, this whole thing about being untouchable, sometimes when you win, you think you're untouchable and you train less. And you're like, I don't need to train for Buster Douglas. Who is he? I'm Mike Tyson. Boom. His mother passed away 40 days ago. He knocks you out. You're no longer Mike Tyson. No one fears you anymore because they know after 6, 7, 8 rounds, you can't hang. You were exposed. So I hope that level of cockiness doesn't go to a point of being untouchable because that can backfire on you no matter who you are. Yesterday, I watched the movie, The Brink of War. Angel Studios got like 6, 7 movies that's coming out. These guys are stacked with a massive pipeline of movies with phenomenal actors. I was so impressed with the lineup they had. This was a story between Ronald Reagan and Gorbachev that met in Iceland, I want to say, and they're going back and forth in the negotiation of the war. They're trying to prevent the war. You know, you could tell that moment of you're not untouchable. So I hope the Trump family's not going with this untouchable thing because that's not going to end well. And then, last but not least, I'll add this to it. If they do, Biden's handed Trump the biggest thing that I wish they wouldn't have done, which is what? They're going to self-pardon the entire family. Mm-hmm. They're going to be giving away preemptive pardons to the family left and right. And guess what they can say? Anything they want, and Democrats can't say anything. You know what clip's going to go viral? All the DNC Democrat pundits that were like, what's the big deal? What's the big deal? All of those clips of the Biden family giving these pardons to their own family is going to replay. It's going to be the most viral clip the day Trump's. Matter of fact, if Trump's camp, and you know they're ready on the marketing side, they've already cut up, their editors have already cut up all the clips, and they're waiting for the day when they're going to self-pardon everybody. That clip's going to drop so quickly. People are going to be like, how quickly did you cut this? Trust me, we've been waiting for this for 18 months because we know this was going to happen. So to me, if they do go after Trump, that Eric Trump name, where is he on the list, by the way? Is he anywhere on the list?
Yeah, he's right in the middle.
By the way, that 0.3% will be 4, 5, 10% in no time. You'll see. If they go after Trump's family. So to the DNC and the leftist, if you want Eric Trump as your next president in the next few years, maybe 2028, maybe 2032, maybe 2036, please go after Trump's family. Go ahead and do so. See what happens to you. You just officially produced a George W. Bush, and his name is Eric Trump. He'll be your president in the next 4 to 8 years. Cut this clip and keep it for the future when we talk about this. It'll be the dumbest mistake Democrats make.
And they're still going to make it.
And they're still going to do it.
Yes.
And they're still going to do it.
They're campaigning.
It's here. Hey, silver platter. Mr. Eric Trump, congratulations. You're our 49th president. You're our 48th president. Watch when this takes place. By the way, both him and Don Jr. are formidable, so things can change.
Of course.
Because, you know, people have to see a stable wife that's a little bit long-term, and he's kind of working through it. Eric's wife is super. We know who she is.
And you're right. And buddy, you don't remember that photo that Eric is sitting there with a Trump 2028 hat.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, bro, just little breadcrumbs.
People are not watching
OG.
Eric. Let me tell you.
He's quiet. He's
he
running
was
the
there
company.
at the 250 race. He's smooth. He's
Yep.
good.
I
He's
love
battle tested. He's a stud. I saw his high school pictures the other day. I'm like, this guy was a little bit of a, you could tell he was a troublemaker. He has that look in it. Can you pull up Eric Trump's high school picture? You can tell this guy was like, he has his own thing as well that he wants. Yeah, can you pull it up? Let me see what he looks like. High school photo. There's a couple rebellious pictures. Yeah, top left, not that one. There was another one I saw. Both of them. Don Jr., had a little bit of a flair, but
Playboy.
we'll see. We'll see.
Well, I think ultimately what you're saying is like what Justin Timberlake said: "What goes around comes around."
I love that
I think
song.
what they're gonna do is
He works
is
out to it.
that's right. What goes around comes around.
Please don't do that again.
what I'll ask you is this, and I'm not with you on the Eric Trump thing. I think he's a formidable guy. I think Rubio's head and shoulders the best candidate we've seen in decades, but that's for neither here nor there.
Who is more for who?
Rubio. I think he's the best candidate with the Republicans have seen in decades.
I don't disagree with you. And by the way, I don't think Trump's father believes 2028 is the right time for Eric. I will tell you as an advisor, I am not. But if I was an advisor, we've got a lot of weird calls this weekend, very weird calls this weekend of trying to coordinate a meeting between a president and, yes. But if I was an advisor, I would tell Eric, get in there. Yes. Let them see you.
Oh, okay.
Get in there. Let them see you. Similar to how the president ran in 2004. When did the president run for president? Did he run in 2000 or 2004? Can you pull up the first time President Trump ran for office?
He flirted a lot with it.
No, but he ran. No, I think he. What's the first? Did he run? Did he say he's running 2000? Right? Is that what it was? Yeah, first president run was in 2000. I say do it, Eric, and do it for a few months.
Interesting.
I say you go and just scare the shit out of them. I'm telling you, it would, and I know they're going to go after the corruption. Mm-hmm. And so this is the type of stuff that sometimes you watch your enemies, and you sit there and you say you're really dumb.
Yeah,
you're just really, really dumb. Please make this dumb mistake against me. I'm begging you. You don't think Trump's family is sitting there and saying, please make that mistake?
Well, it's almost like we know where the movie's going to end. He's going to pardon himself at the end. So it's like we know the ending here.
You know how confident I am with this?
Really?
The way
you know something we don't know.
I'm not going to tell you I know something I don't know. All I'm saying to you is
I can't confirm or deny.
No. But in this part, I've had no conversation with. This thought just came out. I don't have notes prepared for the Eric Trump thing. If they go and try to get corruption, you have what happened with Bush Sr. and GW. You're going to have Eric Trump you have to hear the word Trump for another.
Pat,
oh my God! He's going to be in the background.
Pat, I only have one objection to what you're saying. You keep using the word "if" as if it's
just
uncertainty.
definitely going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Well, you're
They're campaigning
hoping
on it.
a Carville, somebody on the Nancy, somebody's going to be like, let's move on with Trump and not give that name any more attention.
They are addicted. Their entire
what Lindy says
industry is hinged on Trump. It's not just politics. It's the MS Now, CNN, entire apparatus, the New York Times, Washington Post. They don't have subscriptions without this man.
Right. Yeah.
They don't have eyeballs without him. They need him and his family, anything with his last name. And I have to tell you guys, in 2024, one reason why they didn't work so hard during the primary with Biden is they were counting on Trump going to prison. They didn't work so hard to find a successor for Biden because they figured the lawfare would work.
Or the assassination attempt.
Well, I mean,
I'm just saying they wanted to kill him. They tried to lawfare. They did everything. So please continue.
No. You're right.
Yeah, they tried to kill him
so
too.
They didn't even bother finding a successor.
Exactly.
So what's the point? Because Trump's either going to be gone one way or another.
One way or another. Great.
But you can't.
Great point.
I think all of this is correct, but there's something I want to point out. I've been watching the money on the national level, the national committee levels. RNC has got so much more money than DNC. DNC is actually in debt, except for an $18 million slide that they pushed across in Q2. The Republicans have more in the war chest on the National Committee for RNCCC, which is the Congressional Committee. They have more than the Dems. They have more than Dems for SEM. But you know what happened in Q2 of 2026 that just ended a month ago? Act Blue raised $586 million, which is the largest quarter Act Blue ever had, with an average gift of $39. Okay. So the average people that are out there giving, and you know what the two triggers were there?
Trump.
War? No. War, economy. They raise that money on war economy. You're worse off, and we're spending money on the war. You're worse off spending money on the war. Sure, there was some orange man bad in there, but I think you can't discount what's going on at the grassroots level with the American voter. Pat, I defer to your point about it's going to be a bad thing. If they want to energize the other way, they have it on war. They have it on economy. If they turn it into investigations, you know what they do? It's almost like giving up that advantage you got right now, in my humble opinion.
Yeah. Okay. We'll go to the next story, and we'll see what happened here. We could be totally wrong, but I'm just saying that their reputation is for going after them, and I think they will. And let's see what happens. By the way, for the people that love political stories and they really are watching closely on what's going on with, Reagan and Gorbachev, go watch that movie, The Brink of a War. I took my son, my oldest. My youngest went and watched Spider-Man for the second time. I actually suggest watching this. I actually really like, what's the guy's name? Jeff Daniels? Jeff Bridges?
Yeah.
Is it Jeff Daniels? He's the guy from that news show, whatever it was.
He's from the show Newsroom.
Newsroom. That's what it was. That one clip that went viral. He crushed it. It was great. And I learned about George Shultz, who was the Secretary of State for Reagan.
Also one of the biggest funders of Elizabeth Holmes.
Was he?
The blood test company?
Yep. Very
An ex-Secretary of State on a biotech board. Yeah, that makes sense.
But, he died 5 years ago at 100 years old. This guy was a former Princeton grad. He says he got a tattoo of Prince. Such a proud Princeton guy that he got a tattoo on a place that nobody ever saw. And he went to MIT, got his PhD there. Then he became a professor. Then he went and he was in the Marines. Then he went and became a CEO. Then he became eventually the Secretary of State. So pretty heavyweight guy.
You know who blew the whistle?
That tattoo that nobody ever saw.
Kind of like, you can see Roger Stone's tattoo, but you couldn't see this guy's tattoo. Let's go to the next story. Next one I want to get to has to do with jobs. And by the way, I still want to go into Hasan Piker, Charlie Kirk, the Trump tweet with Tucker. We got a bunch of things to get into, but let me get into this one. Ghost jobs. Why is this important? People who are looking for jobs, I didn't know what this concept was until, we started seeing more this being talked about. Ghost job ads are getting so bad that lawmakers want to ban them. So this is companies that want to show to the world that we're hiring so many people, but because we're hiring so many people, look at us. We have so many job openings, but they're fake job openings. So let me read this to you, Tom, and then I'm going to come to you. This is a Wall Street Journal story that's out there. Okay, the cycle of heartbreak is familiar to job seekers. A great ad, a customized cover letter, nothing. But in many of these, as many as 1 in 5 cases, the company never intended to fill the opening. Months later, the ad is still up. The job remains a phantom. Ghost jobs are in a long-time frustration, and that anger is now spilling into state legislators. Lawmakers in New York and Pennsylvania proposed bills this year requiring employers to list hiring timelines and removing ads once roles are filled. In Texas, Attorney General Ken Paxton, a Senate candidate, opened an investigation into LinkedIn last month saying it advertised and profited from fake jobs. When people are putting the time and effort into applying, there's a reasonable expectation that there's a job out there, said Pennsylvania State Representative Jim Prokopiak. Tom, why is this such an important story?
So this is PR spin, and this is why it's important. I'll make this really, really quick. When you advertise jobs, first of all, Vinny, what makes a stock go up? Growth and profits, right?
Yes.
Man, we're growing.
Yeah.
You hear the word guidance. 4 times a year, you hear all the stories, MSNBC, CNBC, Wall Street Journal, Barron's, Bloomberg, everywhere. Guidance. Company guides growth in the future. Company guidance is positive. Company guidance on this. One of the ways you guide on growth, you never want to say things with your lips. Sometimes you let other things say it. Well, guess what? The number of jobs that are open is one of the ways that analysts used to gauge growth for companies. So you're putting external PR out there showing a bunch of open jobs. Adam and Tom, the analyst, goes, well, we have what the CEO said, Adam, but have you seen the number of jobs? My gosh. Or look at the number of sales jobs. Look at the number of engineering jobs. My goodness, they must be growing. We add that to our calculus when we say, we're going to give the Vinico a buy rating. Actually, no, we'll just go accumulate it. Adam says, no. Strong buy rating. So number one, it's manipulative PR that analysts are using. Number two, they use it in a nefarious way to create employee morale. They lay off a bunch of people, which the stock market loves because it reduces OPEX. And then they say, but it's different jobs we need, and we're posting them. So the jobs get posted. So now the employee, it's used as a retention tool because you feel like you're working your butt off, but then you say, well, no, they're going to be hiring more people. We're going to split the department in half. We're going to do all this. Second, and then lastly, LinkedIn comes to them and says, hey, you want these job posts to look legitimate? Yeah. Okay. $400 per post per month. We'll take care of it. And that's the money that goes into LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the unwitting or witting partner to legitimize all the postings that are out there and show the growth and things that are going on. And so now you've actually got the focus of this article is going the wrong way, Pat. The focus of the article was saying, oh, and the job seeker pays for all of it. With what? Disappointment. They put in for a job, there's no job there. Nobody responds to them. How is a job seeker paying for it? No. The shareholders are paying for it of people, the retail buyers of stock that are buying it, and one of the perceptions they have is that there's growth based on these, and I agree that it should be regulated.
Well, a couple things here. We just got on a call with LinkedIn. We've been doing business with LinkedIn for a long time. They're one of the best players in the game. There's some other competitors out there. There is a lot of money on the back end of how LinkedIn's making money right now. I think Microsoft bought LinkedIn for like $17 to $30 million. It's a $200 billion enterprise right now. It's a $200 billion enterprise right now. It's not even a question. But their business models completely changed. It's not a social media site. It's these companies that have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not a multi-million-dollar contract, because that's where you have the opportunity to hire people. So the cost is there. Number two, if you guys, one of our guys, Connor, right now, sent me a text. He says he applied for 97 jobs and received a response from 3, and he got the job. He's been with us for 3 years. We love him. But so that's a real thing, because for every one of these guys you hear on Jubilee, if you want to play this clip, I'm sure you guys remember this one guy on Jubilee. Can you play this, please?
Victim.
How about
You
I
crushed it.
interview you and I give you a job? Would you move to Fort Lauderdale?
Ooh, man, that's Florida. Sure, why not?
Would you move to Fort Lauderdale?
Sure, why not?
How about you and I document this? After this, you come, I do an interview with you, and I give you a job. And let's see what you do 90 days later.
Okay, and I'll look up your company and all that kind of stuff, and I'll see it.
But you see what just happened
regardless,
right there?
Mike,
Watch what you just did.
Sure.
You just said you applied to 477 companies who's not gone back to you.
Yeah.
A business owner who's hiring aggressively just made an offer to you. You said you're willing to move. Then you said, I'll look at it. You became selective.
I didn't
You
say I look at it. If you'd
yourself.
let me finish my sentence.
Go ahead. I want to hear it.
I would like to look into your company to see exactly what you guys do.
You would like to?
Because I don't know what you guys do.
Okay.
So as far as I'm concerned, I may be wasting my time going. If you guys are a finance company, if you guys are a bank or something like
guys
that,
believe in
I don't have the
capitalism
certifications.
or
I don't have the
love
degrees.
America?
So
I just
even
can't support
interviewing
that.
me
But
would be
what
a
if
moot
I
point.
gave you a job, period, to work 80 hours a week? Would you take it? And I paid you a reasonable wage.
Are we talking a livable wage or a reasonable wage?
What do
and
you make
whose
right
version
now?
of reasonable are we
What do you
talking
make
about?
right
Your
now?
version of reasonable or my version of
But you
reasonable?
see, so now for me, what I'm noticing from you is
I need specifics.
No, not necessarily. No, most of the people I hired need specifics. The difference is I'm trying to hire them. In this instance, you're trying to get a job and you're being selective. It's going to work against you.
I mean, I'm not trying to get a job. Originally, I was
My
trying to
offer is
ask you
off
where
the
the
table.
moral felt.
You're fired.
You can pause it right
But
there.
he was unemployed.
But you know what's bad? Here's what's bad. He makes those people who are truly unemployed trying to look for a job, he makes them look bad. And this is not America. Just so you know. The same way this ghost, what do you call it? Ghost job ads
jobs.
are not all companies. This is 5% of companies that are doing it. This is not 100% of companies. 5% of America's like him. 5-10% of America's like him. 5 to 10% of companies are like the ghost job because they have to pay a lot of. I'm paying these LinkedIn companies hundreds of thousands of dollars. Of course, you're not going to put fake ads. Like, why would you do that? It's a cost every single time you do it. Take those people out. The ones that are making the rest look bad. The people in the middle, they're looking for jobs. There's a story that follows up saying nearly 25% of U.S. workers are functionally unemployed. Economic analysis says, this is CBS News. What does functionally unemployed mean? I'll have Tom explain it to you in a minute, but let me just read this to you. The U.S. job market is less robust than it looks. The unemployment rate fell to 4.1% in July, well within the healthy range, but the metric only counts for people over 16 without a job who are actively looking, an imprecise picture. So again, remember, they're trying to bash Trump's economy as well, so they're going to write something like this, but a part of it is real. Check this out. The true rate of unemployment captures the functionally unemployed, those out of work and looking, plus people involuntarily working part-time, and those earning poverty-level wages, which is what? Under $26,000 a year before taxes. By that measure, functionally unemployment has climbed 4 straight months and stood at 24.9% in July, down from 25.2%. We shouldn't read too much into a single month, but 4 months begin to tell a story. Tom, is this a concern when you see numbers like this?
So, yes. It means that the labor market is not as hot or as we think it is. We already know that right now that layoffs have led to more corporate efficiency. So when you look at the K-shaped economy, you've got the stock market with much more efficient companies in terms of profits per employee in certain sectors. And you've got, instead of the Magnificent Seven, now we've got, the AI crowd driving it. But what this talks about, functionally unemployed, talks about those people that are out of work, plus people that are voluntarily working part-time away from their full-time capabilities. So it'd be like, Vinny, like you're an accountant and you work part-time for a tax prep company because you can't find a full-time accountant role. We would call you functionally unemployed. You would take a full-time accounting role if you could find one in your town and you're like, crap, I can't. So you take like a part-time seasonal tax prep role for now. Additionally, they include the poverty level wages. Well, I have a hard time with that one because what they do is, sometimes Dems are very, very eager and to count, teenagers. And it's like, wait a minute, but they
don't do that under Biden, but they'll do it on a Republican.
Yep.
I get that. But the reality of it is people are having a hard time with affordability right now. We can't hide around that, Tom. That is really happening. They got to find a way to address that. Lindy, go for it.
I want to say I have to give a plug here for Manect. There have been a number of people who've reached out to me on Manect for this very reason. They tell me they're applying for jobs on LinkedIn or through the company websites and they can't hear back. They don't hear back for months. I have one dear friend on Manect. His name is Matt, and he's applied to hundreds of jobs and has never heard back. But he said, I reached out to you. I've written him recommendation letters. I got him jobs. I've opened doors. Wow. This is all through Manect because you're actually going to hear back.
Yeah, and by the way, one of the things about Lindy, shout out to Lindy. Lindy is phenomenal on Manect. 8,629 conversations she's had on Manect. So anybody watching this that wants to Manect with Lindy, send her a message. She is so active. She's got hundreds of conversations with
love
people.
You guys so much. Like, I deeply care about you like my family. You guys are the best, I have to say.
And a quick shout out to Vinny. He just crossed 10,000 Manects. He's in the 10,000 club.
But the award's going to go to her.
All right. Okay. So
I was just going to add one thing.
Go ahead.
I think there's one component that we should add. Looking for a job is a deeply emotional thing, especially if you don't have one. Like, it reminds me of the scene of Friday when he says, you messing with my money is like messing with my emotions. He's like, I don't like me messing with my money or my emotions. So when you can't find a job and you're searching out there and you're getting upset, speaking of Manect, I got back to Manects yesterday. One was the most optimistic, future looks bright message. I'm figuring it out. I got this. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. And the next message was like, life sucks. Life's tough. I can't figure it out. The economy. And I told him, buddy, your messages came at the wrong time. Because I just told this guy, amazing, your optimism. And now you're just like wallowing in self-pity. Nobody's going to feel bad for you, especially as a dude. So what I've realized is when it comes to getting a job, it's not where you start, it's where you finish. Whatever you're looking for, find a job, get a part-time job, get experience, get an internship. That's only temporarily. At the end of the day, if you actually have what it takes and you have the skills to pay the bills, you'll keep moving up, you'll keep finding the right thing. I was a jack of all trades until I was 27, broke as hell, but I made connections and relationships that still served me. So focus on what you can do, not what you can't do.
I agree. I think that's a good message for people to consider as they're going through it. Now, let's talk about something. Earlier, we talked about the poly market story, the job ghosting. And you heard Ken Paxton talk about the fact that, hey, if you do that in the state of Texas, they're going to come after you. You can't post things like this. Mark Cuban is on Kara Swisher, and she's being interviewed. And then they talk about two different things. One, they talk about the wealth tax in the state of California. Then they bring up Talarico. And then the audience is like, make up your mind, Mark. Where are you at with this? And Mark actually, one thing about Mark, he responded to a lot of the criticism on X, which maybe we'll read some of them. But here's how Mark switched within seconds from California's bad to Talarico's great. Go ahead.
My daughter just graduated from college, and she was asking about living in L.A. I'm like, you can't afford it, right? The taxes are insane. But going back just to the billionaire stuff, I think it's ridiculous. I think it's going to cost them more than they'll say. And look, people say, well, you're a billionaire, right? Well, look, you're already getting people moving. You're getting companies moving. You could be cutting off your nose to slight your face. So everybody wants my money. And, you know, unfortunately, usually they say they'll eat me last. James Talarico, let's go.
Oh, okay. Tell me.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm a huge fan.
I know you are.
Oh, God.
You're a
I
big
think
fan.
he's honest.
That's what
he's
you are?
trustworthy. He cares.
What do you say then to those red voters?
Do what's best for the state of Texas. Do what's best for your wallet. Do what's best for you, right? There's nobody in the same thing. My buddy who voted for Trump in 2016, I say the same thing to all these voters. You've been voting for Republicans all these years. What have they done for you?
Tom, thoughts?
Same thing could be said for both parties.
So, yeah, I don't understand the Talarico part. Talarico, there is polling that came out that showed that he was struggling with black voters. And the DNC, for Texas DNC, was saying, we think that this election is going to hinge to the over-index of the black voters because Hispanics are becoming increasingly conservative, not a majority conservative, but increasingly conservative. We've seen it in Texas. And so Talarico comes out a week ago, and what does Talarico say? Well, I think the problem with the whole Carmelo Anthony case was that there wasn't enough black jurors. Wait a minute. At the same time, we find out that text messages came out that showed that it was actually a premeditated murder. Absolute, unequivocal text messages, and they were worried about civil unrest, and so they didn't go after the death penalty. And they just denied the guy's request. A liberal judge denied the guy's request for a new trial. So Talarico's out here talking about this, trying to pander to the black vote using a horrible premise. Mark Cuban is smart. How can he not see that and see the pandering that's going on? And why does he believe that what Talarico wants to bring is actually economically good for the state of Texas? That confused me about Mark. There are things that he's doing on drugs and his own company, the startup company, on drug prices, which I applaud and I think are great. And I love the fact that he wouldn't let himself be, manipulated all those years as an NBA owner. There's so many things I like about Mark, but this angle on the back side of the Talarico confused me, and I think it's wrong-headed.
Can you pull up the clip? Can you pull up the tweet with him responding back? Not this one. This is when he says there's racism and all this stuff. Not Talarico. The one I just texted you about, the tweet and him responding. I just literally send you the tweet, guys.
Sexism in America. Yeah.
Guys, I just send it to you right now. Can you pull up this tweet? Yeah, there you go. Go a little bit lower. So if you go lower, just look at the comments, him responding. Go to the comment section, please. Okay. So he responds back, hey, Mark, hope you're doing well. Question for you. Which state laws do senators vote on? Okay. So Geiger Capital, who does a good job with the content out there, he says, so you know the policies are bad and admit you won't want them in Texas, just at the national level. Go to the show replies because I think he responds back to it. Yeah, so Mark responds back. He says, if it was a state representative that wanted a wealth tax in Texas and I lived in their district, I would vote against them. That's how our system works. Different jobs have different responsibilities and impact. I vote accordingly. So then another guy responds back saying the problem is Talarico still wants to raise taxes on billionaires through federal rules, closing loopholes and making the wealth pay more, which would hit people like you in Texas just as hard or harder since you can't just move states to escape national taxes. I don't mind paying more in taxes. Bigger concern is debt we have and how much interest we are paying now. No one in the office is doing anything about it. You good about all the spending? Then he responds. So a part of while you're watching this, he's saying, no, I'm voting selfishly because him becoming a senator does nothing to me on a national level in the state of Texas. I don't care if he wins. It's a very weird way of voting. Like, where is your conviction at? What's your position when you see Mark Cuban doing this?
I can't believe he's flip-flopping so quickly. Just a couple months ago, he was condemning the Democratic Party. He seems to go where the poll numbers are. This guy is just like a weather vane. He's like Talleyrand. Remember that French diplomat? He's famous for just following the political winds. And suddenly he's backing Talarico, who says there are 6 genders. This is the same guy who in Texas says that God is non-binary.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think so, man. And he's vegan, apparently, in the great state of Texas, known for beef. This is I can't, as a Christian, I am offended.
Yeah, but Mark Cuban may say, well, that's not my position. I'm just voting with my pocket, and I don't care what position he's got. I don't care where he's at spiritually. There's 2 conversations. By the way, I think he's ahead right now, 52-48. I don't know what the numbers are if you want to pull it up. Greg Abbott said there's no way in the world. If there's a choice between Talarico and Paxton, it's easy. Paxton's the one to go with. But again, Talarico went on Rogan. Rogan likes Talarico. There's an audience for it that in Texas who are somewhat independent. They're like, well, we wouldn't mind testing out somebody like this. Adam, where are you at with this?
Look, I've actually been following this race, and to me, it's pretty simple. It's in Texas. Do you want to vote for a cowboy or do you want to vote for a boy? That's really what this comes down to. Ken Paxton is not the best candidate because actually, as a candidate, who you are actually matters. This guy's got some corruption issues. He's got some baggage. So we get that. Talarico, get your freak on. This is like the most soft, feminine man, woman, child I've ever seen. He makes Dylan Mulvaney look like a tough guy. In Texas, like I'm actually genuinely asking this question, is Texas getting so rich that they're just becoming soft? Is Texas getting so rich because all the Fortune 500 companies are moving there? They now have more 500 companies than I think New York. So I'm wondering, speculating, is what's going on in Texas, DEI, ESG, is this kind of taking over everything? Is immigration coming in there in Texas? I'm wondering there because the Texas that I know likes barbecue, likes cowboys, and doesn't put up with this Talarico soft stuff.
Muslim feet washing?
Cuban has had a long-running feud.
Muslim feet washing? I'm sorry.
Cuban has had a long-running feud with Ted Cruz, senator.
Yeah.
He also did not have a feud, but John Cornyn, who got beat by Paxton in a primary, refused to get behind Cuban. And so Cuban has had an absolute war.
You're saying there's some personal beef going on?
Yeah, I believe so.
Texas grade A beef.
With the Republican senators, he has had, he's been at war with one of them, frustrated with the other one.
But to come out, Tom, and say, I'm a fan of Talarico?
Yeah.
That's not saying he's okay. I like him. I'm a fan.
By the
What's
way,
he also
that's
saying?
Mark Cuban, though. Mark Cuban is
so
a
weird.
wishy-washy, flip-flopping, back and
Get a
forth,
spine,
no backbone,
bro.
like where he
He
wants
was
to
just
be. He
with
wants
Trump
to be
touting
alike.
his drug prices.
Unfortunately,
but then he's calling out the Democratic Party.
Unfortunately, that strategy does not work. You have to take a position. It's unattractive. It's like make a damn position.
Middle of the road gets run over.
Middle of the road is kind of where he goes, dude, where are you at? Take
Nobody
a position.
knows.
Yeah, nobody knows.
I don't think Cuban knows.
He's like a John Kerry billionaire is who he is.
Cuban?
Always like goes one way or the other because he wants to make friends.
And a lot of us respected Mark Cuban, but I still have respect for the guy. But I don't really respect his opinions.
But respect for what? Because he was a basketball guy and he made money. It's like, by the way, I think that there needs to be a study, and I'm not even being funny right now, with liberals with the vaccine and how many boosters because it makes you stupid. All the Scott Galloways, whatever cares, all these people, as smart as they are, you know what we're saying, like, these are the smartest dumb people. No, it's just dumb, and I think something chemically with your fifth booster messes your head. And the Bible warned us in Matthew chapter 7, verse 15, about people like Talarico. That smile, the false prophets, okay? Beware of false prophets. They come to you in sheep's clothing, Pat, but inwardly they're raving wolves. Okay, this guy, like you said, he talks about if you don't let a kid transition, a child, Adam, he said that's child abuse. He said trans children are made in God's image. God, oh, really? God's creation is male and female. You want that to happen? He's against voter ID. He's in there pandering to the freaking black vote. And it's like, at this point in society, can you not see it? Like, I really hope
Texas is going trans.
Well, Texas. You were talking about the mosque situation.
California.
Did you ever think Texas would be the biggest mosque building place where they have cities with mosque and the Muslim population in Texas? You didn't believe that?
Got to toughen up.
Talarico is looking for votes, guys. It's simple.
That's it.
He wants power, and he will be a pawn of the left. To get there, he is not showing any authentic viewpoints.
At all.
He says God is non-binary. He wants the trans vote. He said there weren't blacks on the jury.
Yeah.
He wants the black vote. He is trying to gobble up. This is Democrat politics at its worst. Simply trying to get groups of victims all under the tent to have enough to win, and then he will be a pawn of power. It's very predictable to me. And that's why I recognize it, and it doesn't surprise me. Does it infuriate me, and I get emotional like you right now? My passion
drives me crazy.
Not emotional, but passionate.
I'm taking crazy pills.
I do, but guess what? He's being the hyena that a Dem hyena is.
And guys, this is also a money play because there aren't that many Democrats, big money Democrats in the state of Texas. He has to cater to the national donor base, and that he is currently saying what they want him to say. Basically,
Correct.
that mutilation is actually a good thing. Guess what? And that, Muslim feet washing stations in Texas are God's gift to earth. That, we should definitely, the men can be women and, and hijack women's sports and hijack our futures. This is exactly what the coastal progressivism dictates. Yep. And that is why the DNC is dying. I don't know if you guys realize this, but the Democratic Party is dying. This is, I declare that 2026 or 2028 is going to be the last time that they have a modicum of control over their own presidential election. After this year, it's going to be the DSA all the way, especially if AOC takes over.
Can I hone in on one thing you just said?
Please.
You said that there's no Democratic donor base in Texas, so they got to go to a national East Coast, West Coast.
California is known as the wallet of the Democratic Party, the Hollywood base, and also New York and Martha's Vineyard and the Upper West Side. I mean, I've hosted Governor Shapiro at my own home twice. I've had Tammy Duckworth at my home twice. People come to Philadelphia. They saw me as their Philadelphia wallet. And so they go to the two coasts. They skip over flyover. They consider it flyover.
To Lindy's point, Pat, here's a quick chart. Look at this chart. On the left-hand side, that's the national money. Look at the Republican lead over the Dems. Then in the middle is the Senate money, and then on the left is the House money. The money comes to the conservatives. So he can't find the Senate money in Texas. Where will a liberal Democrat find big donor money in Texas? George Soros doesn't live there. He's got to go outside and get it. And how does he do it? He picks the position to reflect, to get the money to him. You've got my vote. Once we get to Senate, you've got my vote on these things. But I got to get to the Senate to do it. You got to help me.
But even if they have money, how is this flying in Texas? How is it even close? How bad of a candidate is this?
Talarico.
Not Talarico. Paxton. How bad of a... this is just begging the question. How bad of a candidate is Paxton if he isn't running away with this Talarico guy? In Texas?
Well, Paxton is not he's not a guy that's going to get on a podcast or an interview and light it up. Talarico is more charismatic than Paxton is. Paxton's a fighter.
Oh, yeah.
He's a lawyer. He's a dog. He's a fighter, but he's got some controversy in the past that he's maneuvering through. But, it is Texas. It is Texas, and Ken Paxton is one of those guys that you want on your side as a lawyer. He's a tough guy.
You've had him on the show?
Yeah, he's a tough guy. He's a tough guy.
And what was your biggest takeaway with him?
He's a tough guy. And to me, the way he spoke off camera was better than the way he spoke on camera. I'm like, dude, talk like this. Yeah.
Come on,
the
Ken.
way you were answering with the camera being on, talk the way you did off camera. And it was like more trying to be proper on camera. I think he needs to kind of
be a cowboy.
He has it in him to be it, but he's got to. Now again, his advisors are going to say different things, but we'll see what happened here. Let me get to the next story. By the way, before we go to the next story, we have to get into the Hasan Piker, the Charlie Kirk story. I want to get into the Ray Dalio gold Bitcoin, but I want to do a reminder again with some chocolate because I'm seeing how many people are ordering the shoes left and right, and some sizes go very quick. If you're 9, 10, 11, 12, any of those sizes, those go quick. Watch the clip again with the chocolate FLB shoes. Go for it.
Handcrafted across 5 Italian factories. With builder technology underfoot, it may be the most comfortable shoe you will ever own. Introducing the all-new FLB shoe, finished in new chocolate Carrezza leather. Made to move, built to endure, designed to impress.
Go to vtmerch.com to place your order with the latest chocolate-colored FLB shoe.
All I can think about is sexual chocolate right now.
By the way, when I tell you, you wear that with a nice blue suit or you wear that with white pants, it is ridiculous.
Can I keep it 100 with you?
Yeah.
Keep it a buck, as the kids say? I think this brown is so much better than the lighter brown.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
lighter...
Well, the lighter brown's that's a different suit.
Listen, no shout out to lighter shade of brown. You pick and choose whether you like lighter shade of brown or you like
Hey,
chocolate.
the black of the berry, the sweet of the juice, PBD. Everybody knows that.
Listen, this is all I will tell you is this is all I...
You got to come out with a female line.
Yeah,
I'd love to get it.
Listen, we maybe one day there's going to be some announcements being made. But okay.
Female line.
All right, let's continue. Let's go to the next story. Do we want to do Bitcoin? Do we want to do Hasan? Which one do we want to go to next?
Well, me and Lindsay.
Yeah. Vinny
Okay,
always
so
has
let's go
me
into
back.
that.
Lindsay love him.
Let's go into that. So here is Hasan Piker. They're having an event, and they're singing this song, which apparently this song was a song that went viral. I think it was an AI video they made, and it went viral on the Facebook boomer side, is what Connor was telling us earlier. And at their event, they're singing this song mocking the great Charlie Kirk. Go for it.
How cringe.
Vinny.
Oh, and I love it because you know he's gonna go and what is he on?
Twitch.
Whatever the hell he's on, he's gonna sit there in his room while he's probably zapping his freaking dog in the neck and the back. But this is what really drives me crazy. Well, number one, it's not about Hasan Piker. We're talking about him because he's doing stupid stuff. It's not about him. It's about all the people behind it that he's campaigning for, and all the hugging AOC and all these Abdullah whatever. He says, if you can't say my name, say it. I don't care about you.
Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Whatever the hell his name is. But it's like, bro, Hasan knew Charlie. You know what I mean? Like you shared the stage with him. You debated with him. You disagreed about everything, but Charlie treated you with respect, okay? And now he's gone, and you're on stage mocking him and doing all this. And then, mind you, this is what, because me and Lindy were on Piers Morgan. Trank was on there, and he has to stick up for his nephew. I understand that, but at one point, because he apologized about the 9/11 comments. Come on, guys. He was a kid. He was a streamer. He on that same stage, he was saying, yeah, guys, I kind of, he was being so fake about, I don't mean the 9/11, and they all booed. The audience booed that he was kind of walking back his comments, which are absolutely nonsense, okay? He doesn't care, all right? He doesn't care. He talked about that. He talked about the capitalist blood. He tried to say, I'll kill, if I want to kill Charlie. And I'm tired.
Can you play that clip, by the way?
Yeah, play that clip, while I'm talking about this.
No, this is the one him saying 9/11. He was joking about 9/11. Go back a little bit.
Go back. Look at his smirk. Look at that
Can
smirk.
you go back? Yeah.
Yep.
Go for it.
America does not deserve 9/11. That's my new thing now.
Look at that smirk. He's laughing in all of your freaking faces.
Well, no, he's saying that, but the reaction to the audience is they're booing because they're like, America did deserve it.
Yeah, but his smirk is, he's just saying that because he has to say it.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to say it. Guys, enough of this, his family and people apologizing for him. He's not apologizing. He's not young. He's not stupid. He's a grown-ass person that hates this country. And when I joined the United States Air Force, when you join the Army, any veteran that's out there, when you raise your right hand and you swore to protect this country against enemies, foreign and domestic, I really never knew what the domestic was. In my head, I'm like, foreign, okay. This is the enemy that they were talking about. These are the domestic, these people that want to destroy this freaking country. They want to bring in all this nonsense socialism. If you're trying to come to this country and bring in socialism and destroy this and brag about terrorism and put out, mosque and to take over, you're the enemy. All this funny streaming, you want to be cool, you are the enemy, okay? And I know, these people hate the freaking country, they hate America, and they hate you. And mind you, this is always coming from a Hasan Piker. Bro, there's a photo of him. There's a photo of him on a pony. He comes from a rich family. Could you look up him on a little pony that his family owned? He's a chubby, fat kid that comes from money. He's a champagne socialist and makes $3 to $4 million a year. But guess what? The country, look at him. Look at this little guy. Look at the little guy with his pony and a family, but he's a communist. He wants none of you to have money. He wants the government to control your life, and he comes from money. He's a phony. He's a phony, and I hope he plays this on his dumbass show with all those freaking losers watching him. This is the greatest country in the history of the world, but he wants to take it away from everybody and destroy it. To hell with him.
Play this clip. Play this clip, and then, Lydia, I'm coming to you. Go for it.
What about Democratic mayors? It's like, what the f*** are you talking about, dude? We're f***ing talking about socialized medicine, and you f***ing turn around and you f***ing ask a question about murderous cities and their Democratic mayors. I want to f***ing kill him, dude. I want to kill.
In a video game.
In a video
see that?
game setting. I want to own him in a video game setting.
You notice
Oh,
that?
Jesus.
That's your initial rage, your initial thing. Especially when he did it in Lindsay, Lindy, I know you want to talk. When he did the make the streets in there, kill them all, talking all that shit, then do it. It drives me crazy when people like Hasan Piker, all you do is bark, bro. Are you going to bite? It's always them saying, do this or do that, or I'm going to kill it. Then go do it. I know your side did it. You know, the leftist side, and I know he's bragging, like, oh, they're taking the spotlight away from the left. No, it's people like you. It's people like you. And if you're going to talk the talk, walk the walk. And he's not. He wants other people to do his fight.
And Vinny, I want to point out, Cenk lied to us when we were on Pierce.
100%.
He completely lied to our faces. He said that Hasan Piker immediately apologized for his remarks saying that America deserved 9/11. No, I actually looked at the timeline. It took him 3 days.
Okay.
It doesn't take you 3 days to realize it's not something you should ever say, let alone contemplate.
Yep.
Like, my goodness. And by the way, I want to thank you for your service to our country. America is the best thing that's ever happened to me. I give thanks to God that I am able to wake up in this country every single day. It brings tears to my eyes that somebody would denigrate and lambaste our country like that and elevate someone like Mao Zedong.
Yeah.
Give me a break. This guy who killed tens of millions of people, you hold him up and dare to blame our country for 9/11? Like, what is wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
And now he's telling the Democrats, please defend me. Why aren't you defending me?
Yep.
Like, don't apologize for me. You should be embracing me. And frankly, a lot of Democrats are.
Yep.
And by the way, this is a great problem for Republicans because Democrats don't know how to handle Hasan Piker. Every time the conversation comes up, they fumble. They think this is a good idea. You have to realize there is the young social media kids that follow someone like him that are not happy. They don't have a job. They're not creating jobs. They're miserable. They're part of that. It's not my fault. It's America's fault. There is those guys. And then there is the middle-aged or older who see something like this and they say, wait a minute, Democrats, you're for this? This is turning me off. So, you know, there was a couple times that, you know, you have to realize people have to, voter turnout is a very big thing. Just as much as people may not, some of the Democrats may not vote for Trump or may not vote for Republican, but some of them sat out. Well, you know what causes people sitting out? People like this. Take the position. Hey, you know, we like him. We just want to hear him out. No problem. See what happens when it's time to vote for it. Tom, either one of you guys can go next. Go for it.
I actually disagree with Vinny. I'm actually a huge fan of Hasan Piker these days. Nobody is doing more to motivate the Republican MAGA base to get out and vote than this character right here. And when I think of Hasan Piker, I'm not worried about him and dressing up as Mao or basically praising communism. And I want to know who's showing up at these events cheering for him. Who are the politicians that says, I need more votes? Get me Hasan Piker over here to come motivate my base. That's who I got a problem with. This random comedy tour that he's doing, which is like their version of Kill Tony. Instead, it's Kill Charlie. While they're singing and dancing on Charlie's grave, they're doing more to motivate common sense people to say, look, I might not approve of certain things that maybe is going on with Trump right now or with Iran or with gas prices, but this is America, damn it. This is Texas, damn it. I'm not supporting this nonsense. So Hasan Piker, respectfully to Vinny, huge fan, buddy. Keep it up. Love what you're doing to help America stay the greatest country in the world.
I agree with Adam. I have nothing more to add to this.
Wow, I just mic dropped Tom?
No, I have nothing more to add to this.
But
keep it up, Hasan. Keep it up. Because when they start seeing real polling and they start seeing what real people think, the Republicans do have an affordability problem, but they do not have a common sense problem on the core Americans, and the core Americans do not like that.
And it's crazy, though, but we talked about this before the show. The left, you know that big tent that we keep hearing about by Chuck Schumer and all these people? They will say what you want about them. They will freaking stay behind their people no matter what. From Eric Swalwell with all the freaking allegations, all the girls, all the stuff, to, you know, Plattner. Bro, Plattner literally, allegedly, girl beating, whatever. Nazi tattoo. They're still like, yeah, but come on. We have a big tent. And this guy falls in that big tent. And I understand the angle that you guys are taking. But at the end, I'm going to call out the enemy. And I'm telling you, don't sleep on these people. Because people like that with their big fat ass mouths, they talk, it's a dog whistle. Not a dog shocker like he has. It's a dog whistle where people are like, yeah, All it takes is one motivated idiot to hear his mouth and go, you know what? Hold on, Adam. I'm going to go see Vinny or Pat or whatever and try to kill them.
You mean like they did with Charlie Kirk?
Yeah,
literally?
That's
you mean that?
So what I'm saying is
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I was
don't
talking
sleep.
about Pat's question about what do I think about Hasan Piker.
Yeah.
I think they're going to have to pay a price.
I agree, but I'm with you. Playing that whole 9/11. No, I'm joking. Clowning Charlie. But Adam, one idiot. You know how stupid people are. One idiot to be like, you know what? Hasan is right, or whatever his name is right. I'm gonna go and kill one of these people, and then guess what? They zero responsibility that they're gonna take. Zero.
I still believe in free speech in this country.
So do I.
I radically believe that this guy should say whatever he wants. Let's not forget who he is. He's a radical leftist. His uncle is Cenk Uygur, and a radical leftist, killed Charlie Kirk, and they're singing and dancing on his grave. How much you want to bet this? Charlie's going to get the last laugh. That's my opinion.
What do you mean?
Charlie's going to get the last laugh. I think the radical left is being exposed. And do you have that clip of what Charlie just said? Not just said. There was a clip in our chat. Do we have that?
If
Pull
you're
that up,
saying
guys.
Charlie's going to get the last laugh.
Charlie's going to get the last
Are you
laugh.
publicly announcing that you're becoming a Christian because you're going to see him in heaven with Jesus? And
I walk in the footsteps of Jesus. He was Jewish.
Ironically, I think Hasan Piker made it more difficult for Republicans to win Wisconsin, because it's part of the reason why Francesca Hong lost the primary was her association with Hasan Piker. Democrats wouldn't. There were some moderate Democrats who saw the light and wouldn't have it, so they elevated the moderate to win that race. So the Republican is now going up against the moderate, which would have been, now it's going to be tougher to beat. I'm just saying.
Well, let's do that. You said Tucker, right? So did you say Tucker right now?
Tougher to beat.
Tougher. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I heard Tucker.
There's that clip of Charlie.
Let me show this transition, because I do want to. Remember, I told you guys I'm going to show a clip at the end as well that I want to share with you. But let's go into how out of the blue, the president tweeted something about Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tucker Carlson, and Joe Kent, and a few others. If you want to pull this up. So Tucker Carlson just met with the lightweight former Congressman Thomas Massie, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Trader Greene, losers all. Tucker's views have fallen through the floor and will only get worse. Nobody cares about him any longer, in that he has become totally irrelevant and happens to be a surprisingly very low IQ individual. He could barely get out of college, and maybe he didn't, but only real dumb people can make it through that wonderful 4-year time in life. Tucker wants to run for political office, but he should be required to take a cognitive test. He's got no chance, but could probably take a couple of points away from whatever the Republican tickets happens to be. Tucker's a loser and always has been. Marjorie Taylor Brown, like a highly neurotic young woman, went from ultra-conservative to a liberal fool all in a matter of weeks because I refused to return her phone calls, not because I didn't like her, just because I had no time. She was way down on the polls in Georgia because I took away my endorsement and would have no chance of winning. So she, just like everyone else, quit. Thomas Massie has turned out to be a failed politician and a real jerk. He thought it was wonderful to vote no on everything, no matter how good, strong, and proper the legislation would be. What a team this would be. 3 losers and a pocket full of change. The only chance they have is to join the radical left Democrats and try breaking into the primary system. To all of them, I say, praise to Allah. Praise be to Allah. I didn't even read that. Praise be to Allah, Donald J. Trump. Lindy, where do you stand with this?
That's amazing. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, man, she is really embracing the CNN, The View, the Kool-Aid. This is frankly unbelievable and a little bit disappointing. I thought she was a maverick, but she is completely selling out to the liberal media complex.
Do you agree with what the president is saying? Do you agree that they're going to take a couple % away from somebody because some of the Republicans on the woke right may join Tucker if he decides to run?
In the United States, a third party just flat out doesn't work. It just doesn't work. They just play a spoiler. And I don't know. This sounds like a vanity project, and frankly, it's deeply selfish because he's basically handing, it's an open question as to which side is going to hurt most, because some people could say they're taking away from the liberal base, right? Mm-hmm. Or are they taking away from the Republican base? It's really up in there. What do you guys think?
I think run as a Republican. If you want to freaking do what Trump did. Trump didn't run as an independent. Trump said, I'm going to do change. I'm going to make change. And I don't care what anybody says. There's a bunch of disappointments, especially on the second term with the war and all that stuff. But Trump was exactly what the country needed in 2006. I don't care what anybody says. We needed him. He came in and he exposed the hell out of everybody. With all the lawfare, the shooting, the trying to take his money, the trying to put him in jail, him saying you're fake news to Jim Acosta. We needed him at that specific moment. Okay, we needed him. So if you want to come in, and he ran as a Republican, Tucker and all of them, Marjorie Taylor Greene, come in and run. Like, get in, because you nailed it. There's no third party that's going to do anything but be a disruptor. That's it. That's it.
Adam,
you're going to hurt the Republican Party, period.
Look, there's a famous phrase, and you go for the king, you best not miss. And Tucker missed. And Tucker has his gun, and he's just pulling out his foot and just, boom, shooting himself in the foot constantly, as his credibility, his authenticity, and any basket of credibility he ever had is completely out the window. Speaking of baskets, this basket of losers with Marjorie Taylor Brown, Thomas Massie, Joe Kent. When I say losers, I'm not giving like an actual, like, they literally lost. Nobody voted for Joe Kent. He basically stabbed Trump in the back after getting run out of town in every election. You're gone. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she owes everything in her life to Trump. How ungrateful are you because you disagree with a policy or two? You walk out the door. Thomas Massie, loserville. And then Tucker, he's the king of the losers, literally. So here he is. He can do what he wants to do. So I don't know what is going to happen with Tucker. I'm speculating. He ain't running for nothing. He doesn't have the work ethic, the stamina, nothing to get out and do what Trump has done. Trump does it. Tucker talks about it.
Tom.
Well, I've been trying to find the Trump-endorsed candidates that lost in 2026, and I think there's like two. It shows who still has the weight and the gravitas with the voters on the Republican side, with the GOP voters, and with the candidates that are acceptable to Trump. And they say that of all the Trump has made 312 primary endorsements in 2026 with a 96% win rate.
Yeah.
Which is remarkable. It's not like he just picked the 10 he liked, Pat.
It was like those.
I'm 10-0. Really? Because you picked Ted Cruz in Texas. Wow, you're way out on a limb on that one. No, he's out there, giving weight and giving support to them, and this is amazing. And so this is a epic rant. I called it that. What an epic rant!
Epic rant. I like that.
He's making a point. I mean, he carries the weight, and you know what? In politics, they call it about, there's the red meat speech. Why would that person give such a speech? Well, it didn't make sense to you sitting in Florida, watching that speech on CNN, but it made a hell of a lot of sense to the ranchers that were in Dallas when he was there. And they call it in politics a red meat speech, a red meat to the base. And so he just threw red meat to those people that wanted to see him be tough, be resilient, and not back down. And that's what this did.
You know the name that actually should be worried about this tweet? There's one name, JD Vance. Because JD's cool with Tucker. This is JD's people. So Trump just sent out a warning shot saying, oh, you want to disrespect me? JD, like indirectly, this was like a stray bullet coming his way. What do you think about the JD component?
I don't know. I mean, listen, when I had Ben Shapiro on, he said he doesn't think Rubio's going to run, and I hope he does. I hope Rubio definitely considers running, because the way he said it is, you run, you lose to JD, you're done. You run, you lose under general, you're done. You don't run, wait till JD runs, then you run afterwards, you win, you become president. I don't agree with that, but that was Ben's position. But going more to this year with where Tucker's at, I love that people want to run. I hope Mark Cuban runs. I hope The Rock runs. I hope a lot of people run and go present your ideas to the market and see how they react to it. But the challenge here is one thing you have to be very careful with is the following. And this is one of the hardest things to do in life. One of the hardest things to do in life. It is so flippin' difficult to do. When you win and you start getting some people around you that are saying, man, let me tell you, dude, I think you could do it. You're freaking sick. I think you can beat him. I think you're this. I think you're better than this. I think you're better than that. And you hear it so much from people, and you don't have the self-awareness to be like, yeah, I think there's levels to this game, and I'm not there yet. No, bro, you got it, bro. No. Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know what? I can do it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, yeah, boom. And then you're like, sure, what was that all about, right?
Drinking your old Kool-Aid.
I think, you know, there is levels to this game. And if Tucker wants to go do it, great. Test it out. But to think that Trump's base is going to leave him for you're not that guy. You're not that guy. You're talented, you're capable, you run a very popular podcast. You've done a great job with a lot of interviews with, you know, what do you call it? Putin and others. And credit to you as an entertainer, charming, charismatic, that you have that and you have a certain following. But are you a kingmaker? I don't know. You know what a kingmaker is? Like a kingmaker is when the guy says, this could happen. And there's moments where whatever that guy says things happen. How many times has he made predictions? How many times, or is he a, secondary one? Like his position with Israel, he followed Nick Fuentes. Like in that topic, Nick's the leader of Tucker, not the other way around. So if it's like, well, let me tell you, it's really Israel. Well, a 22-year-old is the guy that led you at that time. And now you're what, 28? I don't know how old Nick is. So Nick Fuentes is Charlie Kirk's is Tucker Carlson's leader in my eyes.
His daddy.
No, I don't want to say you're being funny about it, but what I'm saying is he's leading him. What has he taken a first position on that's a risk? Say what you want with Candace. She took a position, and she's the first. Now, whether she ends up being right or wrong, that's a different story. But that's a risk. No, I understand what you're saying. But what has he taken that is the first? Trump took first.
Yep.
They're sending rapists. They're sending their wars. What?
Yeah.
He's crazy. He is racist. Let me go make my argument why. So Tucker is, believe it or not, Tucker is like, yeah. So
Tucker,
I don't know if I'm making sense or not what I'm saying.
Tucker doesn't have fans. He has followers. People listen to Tucker, but nobody's marching to the Pied Piper of Tucker. Let me ask you a very specific question.
Go for it.
If Tucker Carlson was a stock right now, where is his stock? In 2020, he was the number one guy. And then he got fired, Dominion. Where's his stock right now? Because I have speculation. Where would you say his stock is? Is it at an all-time high? Is it at an all-time low?
The way to say it is. No,
sell-off and the stock.
No, I think put it in basic. That's a good question. Put it in three categories. Buy, sell, or hold. Like Ray Dalio said, buy gold, hold Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. Am I holding Tucker right now with the games and relationships he's building? I don't know. I don't know. And I think a part of it is really predicated on what JD does with Trump. Because if JD gets in his head that he does what a Pence does, like let's just say the Tuckers, remember, whoever Tucker gets a hold of, if people spend a lot of time with Tucker, he baptizes you into his way of thinking. That's Tucker. If you get close, look at what Megyn Kelly, look at all these guys. They go, oh, yes, but Tucker's right, but Tucker's this. So he knows how to do that well. It's a very important skill set. Like, I ran an insurance company, and I'm, as of September 30th, it's my last day that I'm there. And there are some people that are going behind closed doors. Are like, well, let me tell you what PBD did and what he didn't do and what he didn't do. And then I watched, we had a conversation. Ricky Aguilar sends me a question. He says, Pat, who do you think are the most grateful people that you ran with in the company? And I said, grateful. It took me a week to respond. And by the way, I never told him the list of names, but I actually made a list of names myself. And then I said, well, who do you think? He gave me the list of names. I said, to me, gratitude is different than the best builder, the best performer, the most competitive. Because sometimes the moment gratitude is when you no longer have anything that person can give you, are you still grateful to that person changing your life, right? Mm-hmm. And you're like, ooh, I don't need him anymore. Screw him. Let me see what's over here. And they forget all the things you did for them. That's kind of what gratitude is in my eyes. And people get to pick and choose. This is not judgment. Everybody decides, and be around long enough, you'll experience that. To me, in this sense is, when you look at a situation like this, those people that are good at going and converting people into the negative or dividing, it's a very powerful skill set. Yeah. And Tucker's got that. He's very good at that. Because it's questions like, well, what do you think about his relationship with his wife? It's kind of weird, don't you think? What do you think about it? What do you think? It's a little weird. Don't you think that?
I saw a clip of him saying, as long as you tell her she's always right, you're going to have a wonderful marriage. Did you see that?
Yeah, and by the way, I've heard that from Christian pastors, and stuff like that. So, I'm Middle Eastern. We have a different way, and I married a white girl, and we've made it work. But to me, that's the part. That's the part of what's going to happen. I want to see what the reason why Mark Cuban can go run and be formidable is because he's won in business, he's won in sports, he's very famous, and he's actually smart, and he's a good salesperson. So he's won and won and won and won. The reason why Trump went and did what he did is because he won in media, he won in real estate, he comes from a family, he's won, and he's been an A-lister for how long? 40 years, 30 years? He's won. I don't know where you're going to put Tucker in that list.
Where would you put him on the buy, sell, hold?
I'm going to hold to see what JD is doing. I'm not buying.
Gotcha. Well, can I give my answer?
I know you're selling.
Well, I sold a year ago. But you know what stock he is to me? I don't know if you guys can pull this up. Have you seen Nike stock lately?
Yes.
Unbelievable.
You know when it
What
started?
a disaster.
Colin
Kaepernick.
Weird.
Because Nike stock, guys, I sent it to you in a text. Nike stock has plummeted over the last handful of years. Why? Very common to what Tucker's doing. They completely forgot who their customer is, and they forgot who their base is. Tucker's base is the MAGA audience.
Go 5 years.
Tucker's audience is who MAGA is. So you think you're going to come in and try to usurp Trump's credibility and audience?
Guess what?
And then steal it away?
If you do,
you're going to end up looking like a fool.
If you do, great underdog story, and I like competition, but you better be right.
You think Tucker's built like that?
No, he's not.
You think Tucker's built like Trump? I know you don't.
What are you talking about? Of course he's not.
Of
course he's not. But to me, if he believes that, show it to the market. Let's see how the market reacts.
I'm sure the market will.
Show it to the market. Let's see how he reacts.
I also just want to point out the leftist media loves playing up the Republican divide. They love playing up the fact that Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene are going off to the side and doing their own thing. They need that. But if you look at the actual numbers, I think it's 5 to 10% of the Republican base actually agree with them. If that, I think that's a generous assessment. So they make it seem like there's this huge schism, but it's actually not that big at all.
I think Megyn will adjust. And come back, but I think a lot of people are in too deep and they won't be able to flip.
You think Megyn will adjust?
I think Megyn
That's
will
all
adjust.
she does is adjust. She's the Mark Cuban of female politics. Where does she stand for at this point? And I'm not even crapping on her. I think she's attractive.
Yeah.
I think she's smart. Is she a fan of Trump or is she not a fan of Trump?
Believe it or not.
She a Republican? She a Democrat? What is she at this point?
I don't know, but here's what
Nobody
I will tell
knows.
you. I thought when I made a list of names of a handful of people after Charlie Kirk who I thought could play a role to unify, I had her as one of them.
I know.
I had her as one of them.
Her stock has plummeted.
I had her as one of them. But again, people can adjust and say, listen, I made a mistake and here's where I'm going. Who knows? Let me do this last story here and then we'll wrap up. Maybe we'll do 2 more stories. We got 14 minutes left. Can you do me a favor and go to the story with Cramer on Mad Money 2 weeks ago? Folks, here's the thing with investments and money and finances and how much money is lost. I got a call yesterday. There was an auction going on with the hand of God of Maradona, who was at $2.5 million. You know the hand of God that Maradona scored
goal
in England.
Famous scored, yeah.
That ball sold yesterday for $3.3 million, $3.2 million
The ball.
on auction. The ball itself.
Wow.
But is this the clip of Cramer? Do you have which one it is of Cramer? Go to the Cramer clip one of 2 weeks ago. He says, I sold all my Bitcoin. This is it. Watch this here, folks. There's a lot of people that say anything Cramer and Drake say, do the opposite.
Drake?
Yes.
Yeah,
whatever
Drake's
Drake
betting.
bets on, bet against him. Okay? So here's Cramer on what he said about Bitcoin. Go for it.
Arvin Christian knows quantum incredibly. He knows Bitcoin and quantum, and I'm going to sell mine.
You are?
Yes, absolutely.
Really? Just on what he said?
Well, he's the man. He's the man. He's the man. 3-4 years, David. You know when 3-4 years is going to happen?
By the way,
tomorrow.
Did he give you any reassurances in terms of what happened last quarter?
I felt yes. I don't know if we have a little sound about how things are going since then, but yeah.
Okay. So this is 2 weeks ago. Can you go to how Bitcoin's done since? Is this the clip that says surges to 78,000 3 weeks after Cramer said, go ahead and play this clip. Go ahead.
Oh my God.
Unbelievable.
Surges to $78,000 3 weeks after Cramer said he has sold over quantum fears. So I'm going to come to you, Tom. Then I want to read what Ray Dalio said about gold and Bitcoin. Go for it. Tom.
Oh, we're not going to watch these guys.
No, go ahead.
No, I think it's shocking. Once again, I mean, if you go to autopilot is great. You can get yourself an autopilot account, link it up to Schwab, link it up to Robinhood, whatever, and take that amount of money and pick a proxy. Like
Pelosi tracker.
we've given, like last year, we gave money to Wounded Warriors on the profit I made on the Pelosi. Well, you can also get inverse Cramer. It's so funny, and the logo is his head upside down, where you actually are buying all the value. This is just yet again. There he is. Inverse Cramer
is up 218%.
Wow.
That's exactly right. And then here he is. 2 weeks ago, he's like, yeah, I'm out of here. And all of a sudden, Bitcoin went from, I believe, 62.5 to 77. Am I right, Pat? Over the last 2 weeks?
Yes.
Something in that range. And it's just, it's shocking. But there you have it. And look at this. It's been flat for so long. Wait, go back like 1 month. This is 1 day. Go to 1 month.
It's
go to
been
1 month.
flat for about a year because I
1
lost
month.
money on IBIT,
Oh my
index fund, and suddenly Jim Cramer comes to the rescue.
There it
I
is.
need him to talk about my
Look
other
at this.
exactly.
It's like it's flat. Look at it. The red line's where it was for a while, Vinny, and all of a sudden he's like, yeah, I'm tired of
But
this.
you got to
I'm out.
realize, though, here's the part. The argument is, how's gold doing? Can you go look at what gold's done the last 3 weeks? I'm actually curious what gold has done the last 3 weeks. Not Goldman, just gold price. Yeah, can you just get out of it and go to gold and type in gold price?
Gold's been
yeah.
up.
So if you go to gold 3 weeks, this is the part. Go to 1 month. Yeah, go to 1 month. Okay, so look at gold and maybe go to 6 months because gold went up to 5,100 and it came back up, right? Do you notice a pattern the last 3 weeks with gold and Bitcoin? They're all up. Why? Why are they up? Typically, when gold is up, it's not always a good thing that gold is up. So let me read what Dalio was saying about this, because Dalio comes out and says, look, the whole thing that's going on right now, he is on, I believe, hold on Bitcoin and buy gold because he believes things are about to hit the fan. So Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent's debt buyback announcement this week fit a broader pattern that can signal a forthcoming crisis, said Ray Dalio, billionaire Ray Dalio. Recommending gold and Bitcoin, the Bridgewater Associate founder said Bessent's plan to increase government debt purchases, coupled with Japan's reducing its U.S. bond exposure and surging long-dated American yields, suggests investors should prepare portfolios for increased risk. I'm confident that the government's financial condition is at an inflation point, Dalio wrote on LinkedIn Friday. If this is not dealt with now, the debt will build up to levels where they can't be managed without great trauma. He noted Treasury has only limited capacity to buy back bonds against the scale of issuance, and that the pattern authorities intervening to surpass long-term rates while deficits grow historically precedes debt crisis rather than resolving it. His prescription, own the things government can't print. Tom, do you agree with them?
I agree with him in times of great monetary crisis on a sovereign level, and that would be U.S. dollar sovereign, owning alternative assets that are of limited supply, that's what he says can't print, usually turns out to be right. So when gold is going up, to your point, Pat, and Bitcoin is going up, why is that? Because people are worried about the regular, fiat currency and all the stuff that fiat buys, and they run to the alternative with supposedly stores of value because of their limited quantity. And so that's where it's going. And Bessent something's going on between Bessent and Warsh. Bessent's going this way, Kevin Warsh going this way, and Bessent is out there trying to help bonds and buying up back. You would think would have the price would go up, but it slipped. So which gives credence to Ray Dalio saying, hey, is the market about to make a correction? That's really what Ray Dalio is saying. Is the market going to make a correction because of debt? And I don't think it's just because of government debt, and I'll tell you why. What's been happening with the owner of the Lakers who sold, and with these guys, you are finding out that it's not just them. There are other insurance carriers that are carrying alternative assets that have a little bit more debt and uncertain debt targets. In other words, what they're putting their money in, where they're building the debt. And so, Dalio's been wrong before, and he's been a bit of a nervous guy for the last 2 years.
He's been calling it depression. He wrote a book about depression. So, he's...
For the last 2 years, I'm saying he's been really...
Yeah, not principles.
He's been really a nervous guy for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And so, but we've managed to kind of grow, our way out of it. I'm never one that's going to say, oh, don't worry about the debt. This is no problem. I worry about government manipulating it and inflating the way out, which crushes everybody's savings. That's what I worry
Adam,
about.
30 seconds if you have anything to add.
Yeah, of course. The number one thing you could do is own assets. Listen, everyone gets fooled by Cramer. Everyone gets fooled by Dalio. These people aren't here to serve you. They're not here to serve the common man. Jim Cramer is an active investor, basically gambling and trying to just figure it out. Don't do that. Ray Dalio is a hedge fund guy worth, $100 billion? Whatever he's doing, $50 billion, whatever the number is. These people aren't here for you. It's actually pretty simple. And Lindy pointed it out. She's a buy and hold investor.
Always.
You think I'm smart? You think I know what I'm doing? No, I do 4 things. I work, I earn, I save, I invest. And I've done that year after year after year after year. And luckily, I have a lot of money in the bank. It's not because I know what I'm doing. It's because I believe in 2 things. I believe in America, and I believe in capitalism. And if I keep pouring money into my 401k, to my Roth IRA, to my index funds, and just saving and investing and buying Bitcoin, buying assets, voila, I'm a multimillionaire now.
Yep.
Nothing unique, but I just put in the work. These guys are just throwing you off base. Do what you got to do, what you can.
Okay, so the last thing before we wrap up. Moms, I made a promise to you I was going to play this clip. So there's an actor named William Fichtner. If you guys don't know who he is, this is him. He's been in a lot of movies.
Yeah,
he's been The
great.
Dark Knight, Armageddon, Pearl Harbor, Perfect Storm, Longest Yard, Heat, Black Hawk Down. He's been around. Okay, he's the guy that you say, that guy. Well, in a podcast, he said this. Vinny, I think you're going to love this. I think, Adam, you're going to love this. Look what he had to say here recently. Go for it. It's going to be good with audio.
I would call my mother about everything. I had a good day at work. I would call my mother. Hey, Mom, I had a good day at work. It's raining out. Hey, Mom.
His mom's no longer with him.
We talk about anything. And I pretty much did that my whole life. Now, some people believe that when you leave this world that, you see all those people or they're waiting there for you. We've heard the expression, somebody passes away and everybody says, well, they're reunited with, their loved ones. So if that's true, which is a pretty cool dream in and of itself, that would be great. I miss my closest friend when I was a kid. I missed one of my closest friends when I was in college. There's so many people that are no longer here that I miss. Some you just had a moment with, or some you were really close with. But can you imagine if you leave here someday and you get to see all of them at once? That's quite a dream. That's pretty amazing. So I dream that someday I'll get a chance to see them and see my mother. And I'll get a chance to talk to her again.
You can pause it right
Hey,
there.
Mama.
You used to go to the car wash right by my Toluca Lake.
Yep.
He'd be in there all the time. And then one time I went up to him, I was like, hey, I go, no autograph, no nothing. Because he's in there just chilling, like pajama clothes. I go, you are freaking amazing. And the Dark Knight, he's the one that was with the shotgun in the thing. But that's freaking awesome, Pat. I've never even seen this clip, but like you could tell
sincerity,
just sincerity, right? And the love for his mother and how amazing she must have been as a woman. Because listen, as a Christian, as heaven and everything that Jesus did for us, that's absolutely what's going to happen. That's absolutely what's going to happen. And look who posted it. Snoop Dogg.
That's right. That's what made it
you
special.
You notice that?
Snoop posted
Dogg is posting that.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal message.
That is such a
phenomenal message. Lindy,
PBD, I have to tell you about my mom. She's incredible. She's a traditional East Asian mom. She watches almost every one of your episodes because you've been so good to me. She's not a podcast girl. She's not. She's, again, an East Asian mom she's involved with the church. She tutors and everything. And, my parents speak broken English because they're immigrants, but she watches you religiously because all you've done for me. And I don't know if that's not a mark of love, I don't know what is. And the fact that she's somebody that I've called at 3 a.m. in the middle of the night, I'm sure everyone here has done that as well. that is just incredible love. There's nothing like a mother's love. I think it's the love that most resembles Christ's love, to be honest.
Well, I will take that as a compliment because I'm the only podcast that speaks with a broken English. So maybe her and I understand each other.
Well, I think, not to be sentimental, I think
Mom, we love you. You're the best.
We love you, Mom.
This is Lee. I think, honestly, that's why I think we have such a great audience, is because when you come here, you think you're coming here for business or news or politics or entrepreneurship or whatever it is. But a lot of times what you're learning here is family, is kids, it's friends. And I think that's what makes this podcast so unique.
He loves you too, Adam.
Thank you, Mrs. Lee. But we bookending this. We started the podcast talking about Fat Joe and what he did with his son that has Down syndrome, and we're ending it on Snoop Dogg, of all people, showing this clip of, what's the actor's name?
William Fichtner.
He's like one of those famous guys. Like, I know you, but I don't really know you. I think that just sort of encompasses this episode. That's great.
Tom.
Well, I think the assurance that you have in Jesus Christ of salvation and being reunited with the saints who are there is precious. And it's what can lead you to this really emotional thing. As much as I want to see my dad, I know that I'm going to be so enthralled at seeing the Lord, and I'm going to be in this permanent sense of praise. That's what makes me really emotional. And it also gives me, hope here on earth, because that compass is what guides me trying to do things for other people. And what he was having a moment there that was just so touching and so real and so human. And I hope he's a believer. I don't know him, but I hope that this is coming from the Holy Spirit and the joy of Jesus Christ that gives us, as they say, the hope of, restore unto me the hope of my salvation. And,
but listen, that song makes sense, right? Reunited, and it feels so good, right? And we're going to finish on that. So, folks, if you're watching this, Lindy, great having you on. Your book, Unburdened, coming out here September 22nd.
You're in it.
Yes.
You guys are all in it.
I read it. It's phenomenal. The stuff that you're in. A lot of stories that are a former Democrat insider shocking account of political power, betrayal, and party collapse. Go click on a link below. Order the book, Unburdened, of Lindy Lee. Support her message. And we're going to put it all over the place. But with that being said, Lindy, great to see you again, as usual. We love seeing you.
I love you guys more than I can say.
And Mom, you're amazing. Hopefully one of these days we'll get a chance to see you. To everybody else, God bless. We will do this again.
Love you, Mom.
Are we doing a podcast on Friday? I think we are. And then next week we won't be because we're at the vault. We may. Who knows? I'll tell you more on Friday. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.